Part 13. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 122. Wang Xiaoqian laughed again. Her laugh was mad and charming. Maybe she didn't think about madness at the moment, but madness has become her temperament. Wang Xiaoqian said, "You are very good. You live in Beijing, and you have a bunch of friends over there. Your life is richer than mine." Lin Feng said, "It's not as good as you think. I'm not afraid of the jokes of my old classmates. The partition room I live in Beijing is only 10 square meters, and there is no furniture. But when I walk to the street, the world is huge." Wang Xiaoqian said, "It is enough to have a bed and a computer desk. I have seen this kind of partition room you mentioned on the internet. If you have a bed, you can play with women, and if you have a computer desk, you can surf the internet. The house I live in is very spacious. You can walk. There are no super 5-star hotels, no high-end supermarkets, and no high-end leisure and entertainment venues. Our small town will definitely not find the atmosphere of a big city." Lin Feng said that playing with women does not have to be on the bed, but also on the computer desk. A big city has the advantages of a big city, and a small town has the taste of a small town. Wang Xiaoqian laughed again, her towering chest trembled slightly, and after a while she looked at Lin Feng ambiguous. "Have you put women on the computer table before to play?" "After playing, I took women to a metropolis full of atmosphere. For a walk on the road." Lin Feng said, "Guess what?" Wang Xiaoqian said, "I guess there must have been. I don't believe you are still a junior boy. In junior high school, I found out that although you are not that crazy, your heart is very wild. Even my ex-husband Zhang Jian is a crazy person. Give you 3 points." In the third year of junior high, Wang Xiaoqian and Zhang Jian were already in puppy love. Hugging and kissing were common occurrences, but Wang Xiaoqian would not let Zhang only her part, and it was even more forbidden to secretly taste the forbidden fruit. At that time, Wang Xiaoqian asked Zhang Jian an interesting question. "Do you think any boy in our school should not be messed with casually?" Zhang Jian said, "Lin Feng." Wang Xiaoqian said, "You forgot, I slapped Lin Feng, but he didn't fight back at that time, and he didn't dare to retaliate later." Zhang Jian said, "That was because he had said before. If he beat him, he could no longer attack his friends. If Lin Feng was irritated, he would be more ruthless than me." At that time, Wang Xiaoqian was thoughtful. She even thought about how to make Lin Feng anxious, and what would be the effect of making him anxious. Gradually, this strong thought faded in Wang Xiaoqian's mind. She did not deliberately provoke Lin Feng to give it a try. Wang Xiaoqian told the scene at that time, and Lin Feng listened very carefully. "I didn't expect that Zhang Jian, a madman, would say such a thing when he was in junior high school." Lin Feng said, "No wonder I kicked him in junior high school. He didn't dare to challenge me, and he didn't find help to beat me later." Wang Xiaoqian said, "Have you kicked him?" Lin Feng said, "Kicked." Wang Xiaoqian said, "I want to avenge him, so I raised my slender legs and kicked Lin Feng." Lin Feng could see that Wang Xiaoqian didn't really want to kick him, and with the moment of dodging, he gently twisted Wang Xiaoqian's plump thigh. "It's so annoying, pinching my thighs. If you're not angry, you can screw my thighs," Lin Feng said with a smile. "You are so bad. A crazy girl like you is not qualified to call me bad," Lin Feng said. "But I haven't done anything bad so far. The people I repaired in the past usually provoke me. I rarely bully unimportant people on the road. If I meet a cute little doll in the car, I will still make the little doll happy. In your heart, not only are you not a bad person, but even that madman Zhang Jian is not a bad person. Zhang Jian is not bad, it's just that his ideals are a bit different." The person Zhang Jian chopped into dumpling stuffing had seen a female teacher before. He was worse than Zhang Jian, but he was not as crazy as Zhang Jian, nor could Zhang Jian be able to beat him. So I was cut off, Wang Xiaoqian said. Lin Feng said, Xiaoqian, even if Zhang Jian is not bad, he will not be much better. Otherwise, so many people walking on the street have not been sentenced to life, why would he be sentenced to life? You don't have to always defend Zhang Jian silently in your heart in the future, it's like he doesn't die in times of adversity, since you have divorced him, then he is your past, and it will be 20 years after he is released from prison. The thing is, maybe by that time, your children are all in college, you can miss him, but you can't beautify him. Lin Feng speaks very fast, obviously a little excited, and seems to be thinking about Wang Xiaoqian, but his analysis is very rational. Wang Xiaoqian is not an idiot, she understood it all, and laughed bitterly. Baishan has arrived. It's very cold and quiet. In this season, I can't even find a single star of green here. If it is spring and summer, it will be very beautiful here. People in small towns are not as fashionable as people in big cities, but there is no difference between small towns and big cities in field warfare. It is easier to find mountains where it is easier to fight in the field. The rhythm of farmers and village girls in the crops will be more violent than that of urban men and women on the grass in the suburbs. There are often field battles in Baishan in Shuiqing County. Lin Feng did not know whether Wang Xiaoqian and Zhang Jiao fought in Baishan. Just now Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian were just walking side by side. When Wang Xiaoqian's buttocks accidentally touched his leg, the distance between the two became slightly wider. Lin Feng did not find any shyness on Wang Xiaoqian's face when they touched it, but Lin Feng also knew that Wang Xiaoqian felt very embarrassed at that moment. If you compare her heart to a pool of water, ripples appeared in the pool at that moment. Maybe the scene from the junior high school era appeared in the ripples, maybe the scene from not long ago appeared in the ripples. Tired, you take my hand. I'm tired too, Lin Feng said. You are good at kung fu, you are very powerful, you are not tired, it is all right. I asked you to hold my hand, but didn't I tell you to take off my panties, to scare you? Wang Xiaoqian said so. Lin Feng could only hold her hand and climb the mountain together. Wang Xiaoqian was crazy in the past, but now she is like a very weak and powerless woman, and she needs a man to hold her hand, and that the man cannot be Zhang Jian, a madman who has been sentenced to life. If a man loves a woman very much and is afraid that the woman will be slept with by other men, don't do anything lightly. Zhang Jian loves Wang Xiaoqian very much, but he committed a crime, so Wang Xiaoqian is very likely to be slept with by another man. Baishan is not high, and it doesn't take long to climb to the top of the mountain, but the heights are extremely cold, and the weather is already quite cold, so Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian soon settled down in a place with many trees. There are slopes all around, it is cold to stand, and it is also cold to sit down. Lin Feng sat down first. Wang Xiaoqian's slender legs were slightly bent. Standing beside Lin Feng, it was very difficult to look at the distant scenery. Lin Feng said, "You also know that I had a crush on you for a long time, and my mother found out that I secretly wrote your name on the plastic leather book. She didn't remind me at that time, and she didn't teach me a lesson until many years later." Wang Xiaoqian said, "When did you understand?" Lin Feng did not say that it was only 2 days ago, but said that before. Wang Xiaoqian said, "Your mother is fine. I often see her on the street. She knows me and I know her, but the two of us have never spoken, and her expression is always so calm." Lin Feng said, "There is a generation gap between you and my mother, you can't pee in a pot, so it's right not to say hello. If you say to my mother, 'Aunt, where are you going?' she will be frightened." Wang Xiaoqian said, "I am so scary." Lin Feng said that she was afraid that you would hit her. Wang Xiaoqian said, "Don't hate it, okay? Am I being that rude? Am I that uneducated? How could I hit your mother?" Lin Feng said, "Don't get excited, I just said it casually, sit on my lap." Wang Xiaoqian said, "I'm afraid you will push me." Lin Feng said, be soft. Lin Feng's trousers are a little fat. Wang Xiaoqian can't tell whether Lin Feng is soft or hard, but she prefers it, because she is by her side, so Lin Feng is hard. Wang Xiaoqian thought about it for a moment, then she really sat on Lin Feng's lap, and immediately felt that Lin Feng was really hard. Lin Feng's tallness reached Wang Xiaoqian's rounded buttocks. In fact, in junior high school, Lin Feng wanted this effect very much, but Wang Xiaoqian never sat on his lap at that time. In junior high school, Lin Feng thought that if he suddenly fell in love with Wang Xiaoqian, he should take Wang Xiaoqian to somewhere. Wang Xiaoqian is very rich. If he buys her gifts, what should he buy? The more than 100 yuan was meant to buy a gift for Wang Xiaoqian. Later, the relationship between Wang Xiaoqian and Zhang Jian was settled. Lin Feng was depressed and ate the more than 100 yuan in a restaurant with his friends. Of Lin Feng's tall and straight against Wang Xiaoqian's rounded buttocks is beyond comfort. He even wanted to say it all, but he was afraid of arousing Wang Xiaoqian's guilt. If he stirred up the fire in Wang Xiaoqian's heart, Wang Xiaoqian would not be happy. It would be very troublesome to marry him. Looking at the distance, Wang Xiaoqian's expression was very calm and blurred. Lin Feng kissed her face, but she didn't respond. After kissing twice, she still didn't respond. Almost half an hour later, Wang Xiaoqian said, "Don't think I'll become a casual woman after getting divorced, Lin Feng, that's you, I don't even want them to touch other men." Lin Feng said, "Am I so special?" Wang Xiaoqian said, "You are very special because you had a crush on me. Of all the boys in junior high school, I think only two people are different, one is Zhang Jian, and the other is you." Lin Feng said that Zhang Jian is also considered to be a splendid person. He married you, fell in love with you, got your first time, and then went on the board many times. Wang Xiaoqian's buttocks twitched hard, expressing dissatisfaction with what Lin Feng said just now. "You bastard, what are you talking about? When you chat with other women, do you also say how many times that woman's husband has stupefied her?" Lin Feng said, "You are different from other women, so I will tell you this." Wang Xiaoqian said, "Your mother." Lin Feng said, "I asked you to scold me," and then Lin Feng kneaded against Wang Xiaoqian's chest. Wang Xiaoqian simply resisted for a moment, then gasped, and said to Lin Feng, "Just touch it through the clothes, don't put your paws in it." Lin Feng's cell phone rang, and he laughed when he saw the call. "The boy I slapped you for is probably back." "Zhao Heidao." "It's him." Lin Feng picked it up and said with a smile, "He Tao, you finally called me. I thought you hooked up with the coal boss's woman and wouldn't dump me. Look at what you said, am I that kind of person? If I don't dump you, then am I still a person? No amount of money is worth as much as a real good friend. Brother, something happened to me. I will find you tonight. You play. That's fine, let's talk then." Lin Feng started chatting on the phone, and soon started stroking Wang Xiaoqian's chest again. "Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us." Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 123. Wang Xiaoqian's breathing was very uneven, and she felt very much about Lin Feng's touch. She said with a smile, "That Zhao Heidao probably still hates me now." Lin Feng said, "No, Heidao is a man of temperament and will not hold grudges. At most, he will retaliate on the spot. He is good now. I have only seen photos of his girlfriend. She is very beautiful and fashionable. That girl my father is a coal boss in Jin province. He lives in Taiyuan, and the mine is in Yangquan. It is said that he can take advantage of 1 billion. Wang Xiaoqian said, "I'm really rich, so Zhao Heidao will not become a master in the future, but he can spend his girlfriend's money. The premise is that he must pass the test in that aspect, and he must make his girlfriend comfortable." Lin Feng said that women are very concerned about this. If you really want to be comfortable now, then I will make you comfortable on this northern mountain. Wang Xiaoqian said, don't brag about Pan, even if I take off my pants now, you don't dare to mess with me, are you afraid that I will marry you? Lin Feng said, take it off and try it. Wang Xiaoqian said, why should I get it for you? Just because you had a crush on me? There are many people who have a crush on me, do I take turns letting them me? Lin Feng was immediately speechless. When he was in junior high school, there were dozens if not 100 boys who had a crush on Wang Xiaoqian. Maybe there were more than 100. Many people were afraid of Wang Xiaoqian and secretly in love with her. Wang Xiaoqian said, if you mentioned me when you were chatting with Zhao Heidao, remember to tell him for me that I am sorry for what happened back then, it was me who competed. Lin Feng said, no need to apologize, really no need, Xiaoqian, I found that you have really changed compared to before. Wang Xiaoqian said that she has become sentimental and has no confidence. Who made our husband sentenced to life? Lin Feng said, it's your ex-husband. Wang Xiaoqian said, if I didn't get a life sentence, it would still be my husband. With Zhang Jian around, I wouldn't go to the wilderness with you to talk about mountains. Before going down the mountain, Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian kissed again, and Lin Feng felt more and more that Wang Xiaoqian's red lips were soft and her mouth was sweet, and he was very addicted to kissing her. Lin Feng really wanted to date Wang Xiaoqian. Quite think. But if Wang Xiaoqian doesn't want him to go, he won't go. If Wang Xiaoqian takes off her panties, she took it off herself. Night. Zhao Heidao arrived at Lin Feng's house. Zhao Heidao is a handsome guy, with a handsome face, quite a star fan, but he has no star life. He is a few centimeters shorter than Lin Feng, but his body is also very strong. Opponent. In the past, Zhao Heidao and Lin Feng fought each other, and Lin Feng could always subdue him in 1 second, which made him admire him. He said several times that he would practice Kung Fu with Lin Feng, but he was too nervous to learn. Lin Feng took out a pack of yellow pandas and said it was a gift from a friend. Zhao Heidao didn't ask what kind of friend he was. He said, smoking a cigarette, that your friend is rich enough. Lin Feng said, not as rich as your beautiful girlfriend, it's more than $1 billion. Zhao Heidao said, I broke up with Su Qingyuan. Lin Feng said, when did it happen? I looked at your space 3 months ago, and there are pictures of you two kissing me and me. Zhao Heidao said, you can see it now, it has been deleted, I and she were divided more than 2 months ago, by the way, brother, I am getting married. Girl in Wenchuan province. Lin Feng thought that Zhao Heidao was a good brother, so he was very concerned about Zhao Heidao's affairs. He felt that there must be a hidden secret, and asked, what's going on? Zhao Heidao said, you know, I opened a restaurant when I was a senior at Taiyuan University of Technology, and it is still in business. My current girlfriend, is the marriage partner, this girl from Wenchuan, Shu province is called Meng Swili, she is very beautiful and has a good figure. She is the cashier of my restaurant. I made her belly bigger. Lin Feng said, there is a problem. Zhao Heidao said that it was AI who made her belly bigger, and I wanted her to drop the child. She said, you hammer, what are you talking about, believe it or not, the old lady stabbed you with a knife. I have to give birth to this child. Even if you are not good to me, I will give birth to the child. During the earthquake, my parents, my younger brothers and sisters all died. They died terribly. Give birth to this child, it is my relative. Lin Feng said, so you decided to marry her. Zhao Heidao said that she is not a casual girl. The reason why she did that to me was to love me. She has been in my restaurant for more than a year, and I can see that she loves me, but I am very to her. How much love, my favorite is Su Qingyuan, but I have no choice, I can't let my child have no father, so I broke up with Su Qingyuan and came together with Meng Suili. Lin Feng said that making such a choice is also in line with your character, but your parents have no opinion? Zhao Heidao said, why would I tell them this? After the spring festival, I will tell them that I broke up with Su Qingyuan, and then I will marry Meng Suili. Lin Feng said, according to what you said before, Su Qingyuan has an heir of all over the world. You treat her like this, and she didn't fight with you? Zhao Heidao said, can you spare me lightly? I asked a few friends to lock me in the basement of the villa, hang me up and beat me. I was covered in blood. If it wasn't for my brother, I would be crippled. Scolding me while beating, Zhao Heidao, you are the trigger. Although you didn't make my mother's belly bigger, you've also my wife many times. Every time I'm happy, you bite my mother's earlobe and say, I love you. Love a trigger, you love it? Lin Feng said, what did you say? Zhao Heidao said, Qingyuan, you can treat me as a trigger, and you can treat me as a little b-boy. You are very beautiful and rich, and you will definitely find someone better than me in the future. Your future husband must be better than me. Lin Feng said, what did she say? Zhao Heidao said, he slapped me hard, slapped my nostrils with blood, and slapped me on the head with the steel handle of the leather whip, and immediately knocked me out. Lin Feng said, what happened later? Zhao Heidao said, I was hungry for 3 days and 3 nights, and asked me, are you afraid? Do you still want to dump your wife? You smelly trigger. I said, don't be afraid, you can kill me if you have the ability. Lin Feng said, what was her reaction? Zhao Heidao said, she cried, hugged me and cried, and then invited me to a big meal, saying, let's go, you will be a stranger in the future, but just a few days ago, she called me again and said, Heidao, I know that you are a person of affection, you value friendship, you are righteous to your friends, and you are righteous to women. You abandoned me for that Shu province girl. I don't blame you. I won't go when you get married, but I will give you a BMW 7 Series. Lin Feng said that being able to make such a decision shows that Su Qingyuan is also a sweetheart, and she loves you very much. Besides, she really wants to torture you. Zhao Heidao said that she is like this, she loves me very much, and she is very loyal to me and her friends, otherwise I would not be able to pee in the same pot with her. Later, Meng Suili found out and said to me, Heidao, you don't need to marry me, really. No need, I can raise the child by myself, I can work part-time, I won't let the child starve and freeze, I will send him to school, choose a school without earthquakes. Lin Feng said, my brother, you have really encountered a beauty robbery. Zhao Heidao said, brother, I even have the heart to jump off the building, but I'm a father soon. I can't jump off the building easily. Lin Feng opened a bottle of aged Maotai, Lu Shukan brought the sauce elbow and pork head over, Lin Feng and Zhao Heidao chatted while drinking. You kids Inga brought back such an expensive wine from Beijing. Come on, is your kid's manuscript fee more than 1,000 words and 100 yuan? It's not that high, it's only 40 yuan per 1,000 words, but I'll mention it in the future. This wine was given to me by a friend. Girlfriend. It's not a girlfriend, since I broke up with Shen Bingqian, I still don't have a girlfriend, just an ordinary friend, Lin Feng said. Fortunately, Zhao Heidao didn't get to the bottom of it, otherwise Lin Feng would be really hard to explain. He didn't want to talk about the problems he encountered in Beijing, otherwise Zhao Heidao, who is now a bit of a drill, would still do it for him. When Zhao Heidao encountered such a worrying matter, Lin Feng wanted to use the opportunity of this chat to give him relief. He didn't want to mention the encounter with Wang Xiaoqian. Zhao Heidao said, do you still remember our school flower Wang Xiaoqian in junior high school? The beauty you slapped her on the face for me. Lin Feng said, to tell you the truth, I was with Wang Xiaoqian during the day and went to Baishan for a while. Zhao Heidao said, I'm X, you're wild enough, Zhang called for no period, you're not going to carry Zhang Jian's cake pot, right? Lin Feng said, no, Xiao Qian and I were just chatting as ordinary friends. It was many years ago that I had a crush on Xiao Qian, and I have no interest in serving cakes. Zhao Heidao said, with your style, you should not marry a second time, but if it were me, I would have married Wang Xiaoqian. Lin Feng said, it's not that I have any prejudice against the second marriage, it's just that Xiaoqian and I are not suitable at all. Zhao Heidao said, based on what I know about you, you are a person who takes the overall situation into consideration and considers everything very well. If you get married, you will naturally not choose Wang Xiaoqian, but you must still have feelings for her. If she lets you join, do you dare to go? Lin Feng said, of course I dare to go. She dares to take it off, brother, I will dare to make her comfortable, but she will not take off my pants for me easily. It is really complicated between men and women, such as you and Su Qingyuan, and you and Meng Suili, it's very complicated. It's just the beginning. In the next 5 years, 10 years, or even decades, there will be many stories between the two of you. Your kid's IQ is fine, but your kid's emotional intelligence is very problematic. Bar. Zhao Heidao said, brother, my Yanfu is also okay, why is there a problem with emotional intelligence? Lin Feng said that EQ has nothing to do with Yanfu, and EQ is not just about love, but also the way of human beings in the workplace. In many aspects, you are a top student in the computer department, and you plan to open a restaurant in the future. Zhao Heidao said, my family is looking at restaurants. I have more experience in this. I think it is easier to get money to open a restaurant than to go to work. Lin Feng said, but if you delay for a few more years, you may abandon your major. In fact, I am writing online novels and my major is not related, but I always feel that your situation is a bit different. Anyway, you have to work. Serving dim sum. Zhao Heidao said, Su Qingyuan said before that she wanted to invest tens of millions for me to open a big restaurant. I was excited for a long time at that time, but now I have split up. Many of the words I said before have become air, and the rest is that I love you and I hate. Is you? Lin Feng said, Su Qingyuan said that she wanted to give you the BMW 7 Series, but if you can, don't take it. Otherwise, if you drive a car sent by Su Qingyuan and pull Meng Suili, you will definitely think of Su Qingyuan and Meng Suili will often be jealous, and you will inevitably have quarrels and conflicts. Zhao Heidao said, I think Su Qingyuan sent me this car for this purpose, but I dared not want it. She said, if I don't want it, I will break my leg in the first 3 days of my marriage, and then after I get married for a month. Then interrupted my thing, and then disfigured Meng Suili. Really fierce, really sturdy. Even if Wang Xiaoqian and Zhang Jianghe were to fight with the billionaire Su Qingyuan, the daughter of a coal boss, it would be a complete defeat. Lin Feng said, then I will drive the car sent by Su Qingyuan and be Meng Suili's husband. On the one hand, I say you are a trigger, and on the other hand, I say you are a hammer, but brother, I think you are a man. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 124. Lin Feng and Zhao Heidao chatted for a long time and settled a bottle of aged Maotai. The relationship between the two is very strong. If Zhao Heidao was invited to drink such a good wine, Lin Feng would definitely be willing to do so. Zhao Heidao's drinking capacity was average, and he was in a bad mood. He was already drunk. He cried bitterly to Lin Feng, saying that he actually loved Su Qingyuan the most. She is beautiful, bold, delicate, and free. There are many things about Su Qingyuan that attract men. In the past, for Zhao Heidao, Su Qingyuan had indeed rejected the pursuit of many children of high-ranking officials and dignitaries. One of them, the second generation of the rich, who was very frustrated, had dialects to make Zhao Heidao disappear from Taiyuan within a month after being rejected by Su Qingyuan. This word soon reached Su Qingyuan's ears. She bought more than 10 cars and brought them with them. Dozens of people blocked the ranting rich second generation in an entertainment city, and repaired it hard, and in just one night, they gave up the idea of the rich second generation repairing Zhao Heidao. But Zhao Heidao also likes Meng Suili, the beauty of Shu province, not only because of Meng Suili's beautiful face and graceful figure, but also because of her personality. Meng Suili is dashing and dashing, she is cute when she smiles, even when she talks and walks. Meng Suili's education is not high. After graduating from high school, she went to a technical college. After she came out, it was not easy to find a decent job. She worked as a secretary for the boss for a month in the company. During this period, the middle-aged boss with a beer belly did everything possible. Wanting to cover her up, made her extremely angry, taunted the middle-aged boss, and after resigning, he went to Zhao Heidao's restaurant and worked as a cashier. In the past, whether it was for the sake of face or for the ideal in her heart, Meng Suili was disdainful of working in a small-scale restaurant. Even if she worked in a big restaurant or a big hotel, she felt very shameless, but she was learning after seeing the ugly face of the middle-aged boss. She thought about it. No matter what job a person does, the important thing is to live clean and strong, to support himself with his own hands, and no matter what job he does, he is not ashamed. After arriving at Zhao Heidao's restaurant, Meng Suili gradually discovered that Zhao Heidao's style of life was exactly what she liked. In addition, Zhao Heidao was a top handsome guy. She gradually fell in love with Zhao Heidao, and fell in love with him within a few months. Zhao Heidao treated Meng Suili in the beginning. Meng Suili's face and figure were easy to stimulate his primitive impulses. Every time he came to the restaurant and saw Meng Suili's face and her autumn eyes, Zhao Heidao's body would stand tall and straight. When he got up, when he saw Meng Suili's plump and slender legs, he thought of hugging her and stroking her. Zhao Heidao said, "Meng Suili and I kissed for the first time on a rainy night." After the restaurant closed, it was already very late. Meng Suili said she wanted to go to the movies, so I accompanied her to the cinema in Liuxiang, and it was past midnight when I came out of the cinema. There was a light rain in the sky, and we quickly got wet without astringent clothes. Meng Suili said that she was cold, so she got into my arms, and then I wanted to kiss her. She simply resisted and accepted it. The kiss was very long. It was very enthusiastic. Let the two girls passing by see it. The two girls laughed at us for being too involved, and whispered about something. Zhao Heidao said, "Since that rainy night, Meng Suili and I have been kissing often. Sometimes we kiss secretly in the restaurant, sometimes outside, and gradually, the chefs, side dishes and waiters in the restaurant feel that we are in love with each other." Meng Suili's ambiguity. Zhao Heidao said, "It was another rainy night, and the thunder was rolling. I wanted to take Meng Suili to the house I rented. She agreed. After I took her there, I crushed her on the sofa, and my thing hit her belly. Her heart is beating fast." Zhao Heidao said, "Meng Suili was very nervous at the time, and asked me, 'You have a girlfriend, if we have that one, what will happen to your girlfriend?' Zhao Heidao said, "I was on fire at the time. I tore off Meng Suili's clothes and desperately, and rushed into her body with great force. She screamed in pain. Sweat dripped from his forehead, and his expression was always painful." Zhao Heidao said, "Meng Suili is not only a beauty, but also a famous weapon. After I got Meng Suili's first daughter, I often had with her. Later, she didn't feel much pain. She always told me that she was very comfortable." Zhao Heidao said, "Meng Suili later became pregnant and told me, 'Heidao, I have your child. I was horrified at the time, and immediately offered her an abortion and compensated her. She was annoyed and called me a hammer, and said her parents, younger brothers and sisters all died in the earthquake. She has no relatives, the world is very big, she is very small, she does not have the courage to live alone in such a big world, she needs relatives, she must put this the child is born, if I object, she will let me see one corpse and two lives. Zhao Haidao said, I was very nervous and scared at the time. Su Qingyuan and I both started to think about getting married. If another woman gave birth to me a child at this time, Su Qingyuan would have to kill me. Brother, I am courageous enough, but I was so scared that I cried, but I couldn't let Meng Suili have an accident, she was so pitiful. Zhao Haidao said, Meng Suili said at the time, don't worry about me, I can be a good single mother, and I don't have to tell the child who his father is, but brother, I am a person with a conscience, and I can't let a woman alone. I have had a child. If the child is born, it is my flesh and blood. I said, I will marry you. She said, you are a hammer. You are not afraid of Su Qingyuan killing you. I said, unless she kills me, I will marry you. You, she said, you are a hammer, I have nothing, she is worth more than 1 billion, marry me, you will lose a lot, I said, you will lose, I will, and later she said that I am a hammer, in her I'm a hammer. Zhao Haidao said, what happened next is what I told you just now. Su Qingyuan grabbed me, hung me up and beat me, and starved me for 3 days. Brother, my eyes were pierced with gold stars, and my whole body was in unbearable pain, but my thing was still tall and straight. Yes, although it is not as big as you, it is indeed proud. I am very afraid that Su Qingyuan will madly attack my thing, and I will not be able to urinate in the future, but she spared my life. It was already 2 o'clock in the morning, Zhao Haidao was still talking, Lin Feng had been listening, the drunk Zhao Haidao tasted very good, his tongue circled but his mind was clear. Lin Feng said, Haidao, I heard it, you can't bear Su Qingyuan, you can't bear Meng Suili and the child in your womb, in fact, you gave up Su Qingyuan and chose Meng Suili because of that child, and you also gave up more than 1 billion wealth. Zhao Haidao said, I like money very much, and I have been trying to make money, but I think that I may not even be able to earn 100 million in my life, but I can only give up the girlfriend who is worth more than 1 billion, even if I have a relationship with her in the future. I also recognize Meng Suili's ordinary life, but I'm still afraid of AI, I'm afraid that Su Qingyuan will beat me hard. Lin Feng said, since Su Qingyuan hasn't maimed you yet, it's unlikely that she will be cruel to you in the future. Zhao Haidao said, what if she was really crazy? When my wedding to Meng Suili will seriously irritate her. Lin Feng said, if Su Qingyuan is really crazy, I don't know what she will do. After all, I don't know her at all, and I only know what kind of person she is just by listening to you. Zhao Haidao said that Su Qingyuan carried with him an anti-wolf spray, a throwing stick, and a high-intensity electric baton. Lin Feng said, has she ever used a high-intensity electric baton against you? Zhao Haidao said that she gestured at me, but she didn't really hit it. At that time, she said, I know that men are lustful, and I don't really blame you for doing that kind of thing with Meng Suili's unreliable trigger woman. You continue to make her your lover or I don't mind breaking up, but why did you stinky trigger abandon me for her and the child in her womb? I said at the time, because the child in her womb is mine, she say, what if I make the baby in her womb disappear? I said she'd die then I'd die too. Lin Feng said, Haidao, don't talk about it, don't think about it, no matter how difficult it is, wait until dawn, you should go to bed. Zhao Haidao slept at Lin Feng's house and talked a lot with the alcohol, Zhao Haidao fell asleep quickly. From the sweat on his forehead, it could be seen that he had a very nervous dream. Maybe there was a beautiful woman in his dream. Figure, with fire and electric baton. After having breakfast at Lin Feng's house, Zhao Heidao just left. When we had breakfast together, we talked about the wedding team. Zhao Heidao said, I want to get more good cars. The best wedding car is a Mercedes-Benz 600, but there is no way. Lin Feng said that there is someone who can help you get a good car. It depends on whether you want to use the car she found. Zhao Heidao said Wang Xiaoqian? Lin Feng said that besides her, there are many people who drive luxury cars in her circle. Those people give her face very much. They can find you a Mercedes-Benz 600, 2 BMW 7 Series and 3 Audi A6s. Zhao Heidao said that although Wang Xiaoqian bullied me before, I don't hold any grudge against her at all. You know, I don't hold grudges. If I have grudges, if I have the ability, I will report it on the spot. First, otherwise she won't bring people to trouble me, and won't cause you to get slapped in the face for me. Lin Feng said that they are all happy people, so it goes without saying that now Wang Xiaoqian is more pitiful than you and me. She is divorced and her ex-husband has been sentenced to life. It is estimated that she has thought about death before. Zhao Heidao said, but she is still so crazy. Lin Feng said that her current madness is different from before, she understands life better than before, she knows that aimless madness is like a rootless plant and will wither. Zhao Heidao said, then ask Wang Xiaoqian for help. Zhao Heidao is going to have a wedding in March, and Lin Feng plans to go to Beijing after Zhao Heidao's wedding. From middle school to college, Lin Feng doesn't have many iron buddies, because he is very picky about making friends. He will see clearly if a person is okay. True friendship will determine the level of communication. Some people are friends in face, but they are not real friends. You can stab me in the back, and I can stab you in the back when I am angry. Some people are really good friends, and they communicate with their hearts. It does not involve any use or being used. If you encounter difficulties, I will go through fire and water for you. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 125. Now don't rush to go to Wang Xiaoqian to talk about looking for a car, otherwise he and Wang Xiaoqian interact a little too often. After parents find out, it's a small matter to teach him a meal, and there will be endless things in the future. Now that he has decided to remain friends with Wang Xiaoqian, Lin Feng will let his parents know sooner or later, but he intends to gradually instill some information before that to let his parents know that Wang Xiaoqian at this time is not the same as before. In the morning, I helped at the vegetable store at home. The business was very general. As long as there was one person watching, I could take care of it. In the past, Lin Feng just wanted to take the opportunity to spend more time with his parents. It is definitely impossible for a small vegetable restaurant of this size to make a lot of money. The annual cap is 50,000 yuan, but if the money earned by this small vegetable store is used in life, it will be enough for parents to live happily in this small town. I don't expect to eat abalone and lobster, but there is no problem with a few stir-fries every day. But the problem is that Lin Titian and Lu Shukin have always wanted to save a sum of money for Lin Feng, which will be used by him to buy a house and marry a wife in a big city in the future, so they are very frugal in their daily life. The Tizot watch and gold necklace that Lin Feng sent are in their luxury. For lunch, the family of three ate the hot pot outside. With the money Lin Feng paid, Lin Titian and Lu Shukin enjoyed the meal. Everyone drank some wine. Lin Titian would sometimes feel that Lin Feng was a sensible child, and Lu Shukin always looked at Lin Feng with affection. And Lin Feng has always been a bright smile. Simple scene, simple method, simple and brilliant, but the happiness of a family of three is very strong. In the afternoon, Lin Feng returned home, sat on a chair and browsed the web. He planned to start coding in half an hour. He had to write 10,000 words today, otherwise he would feel like wasting his time again, which would make him very uncomfortable. Feel good. Lin Feng's cell phone rang. There are two calls he most want to receive now, either from Shang Yuna or from Wang Wei, because no matter who of the two of them wants to marry him, he will let him very happy. But this call was from someone who made him comfortable but was not suitable for marrying him. It was the beautiful landlord Shang Yunjuan. Lin Feng said, "Sister Shang, it's New Year's Eve, you must have bought a lot of delicious food, right?" Shang Yunjuan said that she bought a lot of delicious food, including pork, mutton, and beef, hairtail, carp, vuchane fish, various vegetables and various beverages, but without you, Sister Shang would not be in the mood to eat anything. Lin Feng said, "Sister Shang, you must be itching again, so I have with me on the phone. When I get to Beijing, I will satisfy you." Shang Yunjuan said, "I want it now, but although your thing is big, it is not as long as a train track." Lin Feng said, "If it is really stretched out, it is a wire, and there will be birds barking on it." Shang Yunjuan laughed. Lin Feng could imagine that when Shang Yunjuan laughed, her plump were shaking, and her long and plump legs were shaking. Shang Yunjuan is a charming woman, a woman who can make Lin Feng feel at home when she is warm. Lin Feng said, "What is Sister Yun Na doing?" Shang Yunjuan said that she went out to find friends to play, and when she finally arrived on vacation, she would definitely go crazy. Lin Feng said, "Did she appoint the golden turtle son-in-law again?" Shang Yunjuan said, "No, absolutely nothing, I think she is destined to be appointed as a husband-in-law in her life." Lin Feng felt that Shang Yunjuan's tone was a bit wrong. Maybe Shang Yuna really caught the golden turtle son-in-law again, but Shang Yunjuan didn't want him to know. What is the situation? Only after arriving in Beijing can we truly understand. If he does not need to be a shield, Shang Yuna may not call him to tell him the truth. Shang Yunjuan said, "When you were in your hometown, was there a suitable woman with you?" Lin Feng said, "No." Shang Yunjuan said, "It's a lie." Lin Feng said, "There is really no." "Then what if you are impulsive?" "Jerking off, the first boy can off, although I'm not the first boy, but I can also off," Lin Feng said with a smile. "Don't play, keep it for me." "Sister Shang, don't worry, what's given to you will always be fresh, and new ones will be available if the stock is gone." Lin Feng and Shang Yunjuan chatted for about 10 minutes and said a lot of ambiguous things. If his parents heard what he said to Shang Yunjuan, the second old man's hair would stand up. It can be said that anyone who is a child has done things that parents can't believe, but the parents don't know it. A person who relishes in his circle of friends how motivated his daughter is in college, their daughter may have a boy or a male teacher in the second half of her junior year or the first half of her sophomore year. Parents are usually kept in the dark when their children are stunned. Lin Feng was finally able to code words, and his inspiration exploded, which is exactly what he liked very much. The code word speed is very fast. I just looked at the statistical records, and it actually reached 120 words per minute. In an hour, I wrote more than 5,000 characters. Most of Lin Feng's novel chapters are more than 3,000 words per chapter, so there are almost 2 chapters. Lin Feng made a cup of tea, lit a cigarette again, and continued to code words. The banknotes flew in front of him vaguely. Although it was one of the few banknotes, he was still very happy. The speed of the second hour was slightly reduced, but there were still more than 4,000 words, so in 2 hours, it was 10,000 words. According to his current manuscript fee of 40 yuan per 1,000 words, and 400 yuan before tax, it must be better than money from the grocery store at home. Since I have inspiration, I am very satisfied with the plot and the vocabulary I use, so I might as well write more. Lin Feng will never miss any of the best opportunities for creation. When Lin Feng reached 12,000, his cell phone rang again. This time it was a call from someone he really wanted to receive. It was Wang Wei, a female college classmate. Lin Feng said, "Xiao Yi, you still know that I have already returned to my hometown for Chinese New Year when you call me, and you don't even greet me. Wang Wei said, isn't it New Year's Eve yet? I'm fine. What are you doing? When you wait for New Year's Eve, you will definitely receive text messages from me. There is no problem with more than 100 words in a row. Lin Feng said that those text messages were created by text message writers, and then you have to create a text message and send it to me. Wang Wei said, that's probably just 3 words, Happy New Year. Lin Feng said, your sister. Wang Wei said, you are not allowed to scold people, it's almost the Spring Festival, if you scold me, are you tired of living? After teasing for a while, Wang Wei finally got to the point, which was the purpose of her call to Lin Feng this time. Wang Wei said, before I went home, I met Shen Bingqian on the commercial street and chatted with her for more than half an hour. She was already working in Hungtu Company, and the financial department was well paid. It was almost 20,000 yuan a month. My salary is a bit less by comparison. Lin Feng was stunned, saying that Beijing was so big that it made people panic. Lin Feng felt this way when he first arrived in Beijing, but there are so many companies and groups in Beijing, why did Shen Bingqian come to Ye's house? Is Hungtu Company working? Wang Wei said, what happened to you, boy? When I mentioned Shen Bingqian, you became dumb. It seems that you still have an old love for her. I mentioned you to her and said that you already have a monthly salary of over 10,000 yuan. Lin Feng said, what did she say? Wang Wei said, let me bless you for her, and also said, I don't blame you at all for the past. Lin Feng's heart was very uncomfortable, but he pretended to be unrestrained and said, I made her comfortable, and she definitely doesn't blame me. If you try it with me, I make you comfortable, and you won't blame me. Wang Wei said angrily, Lin Feng, I think you are really tired of living, don't with me, be careful, I will ignore you for half a year. After Lin Feng and Wang Wei finished the call, they were no longer in the mood to code words. It seemed impossible to code 15,000 today. Shen Bingqian went to Ye's Hungtu Company, and it is not very strange to think about it. After all, Hungtu Company is very famous in Beijing, and it is the ideal place for undergraduates and postgraduates of many key universities. The annual job fair is very popular, and even there will be hundreds of thousands of people competing for a job. But the problem is that Ye Qingchen, Ye Qingchen's father, the chairman of Hungtu Company, is an old guy who is very interested in young and beautiful women. After Shen Bingqian arrives at Hungtu Company, she may not be the most beautiful, but she must be outstanding. Shen Bingqian's face, figure, and temperament are all superb. Maybe Ye Qingchen will gradually focus on Shen Bingqian, maybe this will not happen. Many employees of Hungtu Company who can be regarded as beautiful women have not all become Ye Qingchen's lovers. Lin Feng quickly thought again that he and Shen Bingqian were in the past, and he never thought about the revival of old love, let alone let Shen Bingqian be his wife. No matter what path Shen Bingqian chooses, she will go with her. Bar. After all, there have been many stories, and Lin Feng is naturally disappointed that Shen Bingqian's future is both happy and splendid. Since I'm not in the mood to code, I can chat with netizens. Lin Feng opened the chat software, and soon saw the avatars of Yang Chun Beixiu and Dainan flashing. He first clicked on Dainan's avatar and saw a warm and sad message, Lin Feng, the Chinese New Year is coming soon. You must be very happy with your parents at home. I didn't go home, because I don't have a home, my parents I don't want me, I just spend the New Year in the partition room. Now all the neighbors in the partition room are gone, I'm the only one, I'm so scared at night, I always think of you. Lin Feng read the message Dainan sent to him 3 times in a row, and was silent for a long time before he sent a message, or I'll talk to Sister Shang in a row, and you can go to her house on New Year's Eve. Dainan, you don't need to contact me. Sister Shang has already reminded me to let me celebrate the New Year with her. She asked me to go now. I said I will go on New Year's Eve. It is estimated that from the first day to the third day of the new year will be in Shang's sister's house. Lin Feng, Sister Shang is a good landlord and a good woman. Dinan, the longer I live in this partition room, the more I feel that Sister Shang is a good person. It's not easy to meet such a good landlord when I go out. Lin Feng and Dinan chatted for almost half an hour, and only then did they have time to pay attention to Yang Chunbeixiu, and clicked on her message, "Small writer, what are you doing? It's almost New Year's Eve, is your inspiration running out? Would you like this goddess to stimulate you? Lin Feng, if you want to chat with me, I will be very excited, let me see your chest and your slender legs. White snow in the spring, seeing AI, then you can open a video. Lin Feng, you think I'm stupid, even if I open the video, I can't see you, but you may see me. Yang Chun begs you, if you are very interested, then take off your pants and let me see. Lin Feng, if you meet me, maybe I will really take off my pants to show you. Online, I don't have any. Spring and snow, afraid that I will take a snapshot? Lin Feng, I'm scared to death. Yang Chun begs you actually, you are a very interesting person. I think every time you chat, you will think about meeting me, right? You still fantasized about me being a big beauty, and then you kissed me all night, didn't you? Actually, Lin Feng thought about what Yang Chun begs you said, but he just sent two simple words, no. Yang Chun begs you, if you are a normal man, you must have thought about this. This beauty has a friend over here. I won't talk to you for now. I wish you a happy spring festival in advance, smooth sailing, and a lot of manuscript fees. The last piece of news is very friendly, and Lin Feng can also feel that Yang Chun Beixiu is blessing him from the bottom of his heart, but he just doesn't know who Yang Chun Beixiu is. In this chat, Yang Chun Beixiu has emphasized several times that she is a beautiful woman. Maybe Yang Chun Beixiu herself is really a delicate beauty, so beautiful that it makes his eyes dizzy. New Year's Eve. Lin Feng and his parents had a New Year's Eve dinner, and they drank Wulianjai, which was also a good wine brought back by Lin Feng from Beijing. If it were seen by outsiders in the county, they would probably think that Lin Feng had earned millions or even over 10 million a year in Beijing. This kind of enjoyment is quite luxurious. But Lin Feng's annual salary is only 100,000 yuan, but he still enjoys luxury. These are things he didn't expect when he first came to Beijing, but he enjoys them all, and at the same time, he also encounters many things that make him anxious and even afraid of things. In previous years, I bought more than 100 firecrackers. This year, Lin Tishan was happy and bought more than 300 pieces of firecrackers. Around midnight, he took out 80% of the firecrackers and released them in the courtyard of the community. The rest, the next 20%, will be divided into two parts, one of which is the 5th year of the new year, and the other is the Lantern Festival in the first lunar month. New Year's Day. Lin Feng received a text message from Wang Xiaoqian and wanted to go out with him. Lin Feng replied to the text message, saying, I will definitely stay at home with my parents on the first day of the new year, and I will find you in 2 days. Wang Xiaoqian replied to the message and said, okay, then I'm going to play mahjong with my friends. Don't forget, you had a crush on me when you were in junior high school, and you wrote my name on your broken notebook. I'll spend more time with you in the future. Lin Feng did not continue to reply to the news. He didn't know how to reply. If he did not forget it, it might evoke Wang Xiaoqian's reverie that should not have been there. Lin Feng deleted the text message, for fear that his parents would find out that Wang Xiaoqian's name was displayed on his phone as classmate Wang. Even if his parents looked at his phone, they might not be able to immediately think of who this classmate Wang was. Do you want to code on the first day of the new year? Lin Feng tossed and turned for a moment and decided that if he had inspiration at night, he would put up tens of millions, and forget it during the day. In the afternoon, when the family of 3 were sitting in the living room watching TV, eating sunflower seeds and peanuts and drinking tea, Lu Shuken asked Lin Feng, When do you plan to go back to Beijing? Lin Feng said, my time is more flexible and I can stay for a while longer. Isn't Hai Tao getting married on March 9th? I plan to go to Beijing after attending his wedding. The best man is me. Lu Shukan said, who is the bridesmaid? Lin Feng said, I don't know yet, but it's probably a good friend of the girl from Shu province. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 126. Although it was the first day of the new year, Lin Feng still opened the document at 10 o'clock in the evening and was ready to code. There are manuscripts saved, even if he has been updated for 5 consecutive days without typing. If it is not for Lin Feng's usual fast updates, even if he saves a month's manuscripts, there is no problem. Lin Feng belongs to the kind of person who can't save manuscripts very well. He wants to update more quickly. If it is not to deal with emergencies, I am afraid that there will be no manuscripts for 5 days. Lin Feng always believes that as an online writer, being kind to readers will be rewarded sooner or later. Readers have sharp eyes, and readers have endless positive energy in their hearts. As long as he does well, readers will recognize him. When coding, Lin Feng was also looking forward to news of a person, that is Yang Chun Beixiu, probably because it was so comfortable to chat with Yang Chun Beixiu. Yang Chun Beixiu had simply become a happy fruit on the internet. Maybe she is a beautiful woman, maybe she is a terrifying dinosaur, but she is indeed very happy. Lin Feng had imagined many times what Yang Chun Beixiu would look like. He prefers that Yang Chun Beixiu is a beautiful woman with a beautiful face, smart eyes, and a graceful figure. But until midnight, when he typed almost 8,000 words, Yang Chun Beixiu didn't send him a message. The avatar was gray. Lin Feng believed that Yang Chun Beixiu was not online but not invisible. 2. Today is the first day of the Chinese New Year. This evening, Bai Shui may be with his family or he may be playing with his friends. Lin Feng planned to fix it for a quarter of an hour and continued to code. He lit a cigarette and thought of 2 more people in the lingering smoke, that is Shen Bingqian and Shang Yuna. When Shen Bingqian arrived at Hungtu Company, her performance was bound to be outstanding. Lin Feng knew Shen Bingqian very well, and knew that she was such a person. Once she did something with her heart, she would be very capable. It is not a problem to be appreciated by her boss in Hungtu Company. In addition, Shen Bingqian is a very beautiful and temperamental woman, and it is easy to win the favor of her colleagues. Maybe she will soon be able to get along well in Hungtu Company, but when she is promoted, it may cause some rumors. Some people will be jealous of her, and some people may give her small shoes. Lin Feng's network of online writers is actually very chaotic. It happens from time to time that writers dismantle each other and wear small shoes. There are always people who will use the chaos of your circle to ridicule stress relief. Lin Feng has never worn shoes for other writers, but sometimes there are some abnormal comments in his book review area. Lin Feng has not carefully thought about whether there is an author making trouble, and only writes his manuscript with peace of mind. I wonder if Yeqing Chen, the boss of Hungtu Company, will notice the beautiful Shen Bingqian and think that Shen Bingqian is very suitable for his woman. If Yeqing Chen showed a good impression of her, what would Shen Bingqian's attitude be? Yeqing Chen has the qualifications to be lecherous. He has several billions in his hands. He is quite famous in the business world of China. He is a big boss with good morals. If Yeqing Chen is courting her, I don't know if Shen Bingqian will be moved by Yeqing Chen's charm. Except that Yeqing Chen is much older than her and has a daughter, everything else meets Shen Bingqian's requirements. Lin Feng and Shen Bingqian have no future. They are ordinary friends with special experience at most. Lin Feng is even more disappointed that Shen Bingqian can find a man who can make her happy in the future, and avoid detours before entering the marriage hall. A detour, women are often hurt more than men. A few minutes later, Lin Feng's mind jumped from Shen Bingqian to Shang Yuna. There is no doubt that Shang Yuna is very suitable to be Lin Feng's wife, but up to now, Lin Feng is not Shang Yuna's food. In the Menfei Yang disco, he helped Black Rose defeat the Master Asano, who was brought over by Xiong Jing, a Dongying native. Lin Feng got 300,000. At present, he has more than 450,000 on his card. Counting the money Wang Wei owes him, there is a total of 50. About 10,000. At the same time, Lin Feng's manuscript fee reached 40 yuan per 1,000 words, and he has become a person with a monthly salary of more than 10,000 yuan, but all this did not make him a dish of Shang Yuna. Shang Yuna's attitude towards him is much better, but Shang Yunjuan always think that Lin Feng is not suitable for her sister, only suitable for making her comfortable. The kind-hearted woman Shang Yunjuan will be quite distressed once she is harsh. Lin Feng has been distressed several times because of this. Push her hard and get intense pleasure. After midnight, when Lin Feng continued to code, he unexpectedly received a call from Zhong Xing from that small mountain village in Yi County, Ji Province, and Zhong Xing went back to his hometown to celebrate the new year with his younger brother, so the call came from his hometown. Lin Feng said, "Is the situation on your side okay?" Zhong Xing said, "It's much better than before. I've made money, and I won't be so nervous to spend the new year with my brother. After I came back, I bought my brother new clothes and shoes, and he cried." Lin Feng said, "You are a good sister and a good girl, you will be happier and happier." Zhang Xing said, "If I didn't have you to help me, maybe I would have fallen, maybe I didn't even know myself anymore. You are my benefactor, so is Li Xingguo." Lin Feng said, "Don't keep saying that, we are all friends." Zhang Xing said, "I told my brother that Lin Feng is a very capable and highly skilled person. The novels he wrote are very good looking and literary. His kung fu is very strong and he can fight many people by himself. In my brother's heart, you all it's a magical existence. He said that he must see you when he comes to Beijing in the future." Lin Feng said, "I will invite him to dinner when he arrives in Beijing." Lin Feng and Zhong Xing chatted for more than 10 minutes, during which time you could hear his gratitude to Zhong Xing's words. Lin Feng was also excited for helping Zhang Xing, but now he doesn't feel much about his kind deeds at that time. "I didn't expect to repay him with apricots, and I didn't even think about eating tofu with apricots." Zhang Xing is a beautiful and clean girl, with an extremely beautiful face and a graceful figure, but Lin Feng really didn't think about how cheap it would be to earn a Xing Xing, otherwise he would have had several chances to get a Xing Xing before, but he even held Xing Xing "I didn't touch my pants." After writing 10,000 words, Lin Feng felt a sense of accomplishment. When he lay on the bed, it was as if his fingers were still dancing, the keyboard was dancing, and the wonderful sentences and plots kept flashing. At this moment he is full, at this moment he is happy, he is making continuous progress in the field he likes, he has dated a few women and enjoyed the fiery pleasure, but he still doesn't know who his girlfriend is, his future wife. Who will it be? One morning 2 days later. On a sunny day, cold and windy, Lin Feng contacted Wang Xiaoqian and went to her house. A few days ago, Wang Xiaoqian lived with her parents, but she has returned to her own home today. When she is with her parents will always talk about finding her a boyfriend, which makes her very irritable. In the past, it was common for Wang Xiaoqian to quarrel with her parents. Her parents also understood her character and usually let her go. Even if Wang Xiaoqian was angry and threw something, her parents' fists and slaps would rarely fall on her. On the afternoon of the first day of the new year, her mother said to her, "If you had listened to me and your father's advice, don't marry the villain Zhang Jian, you would not be where you are today." Wang Xiaoqian couldn't bear it anymore, and finally quarreled with her mother. She choked up and said, "Even if I've fallen to where I am today, I don't regret it, because I love Zhang Jian and I'm willing to sacrifice for him." This spring festival is grey for Wang Xiaoqian, she is very depressed. The moment she sees Lin Feng, her eyes are wet. Lin Feng also saw it. Wang Xiaoqian's tears could flow down at any time. He didn't know what to say. A little inattentive would irritate her and make her cry. Lin Feng made an appointment with Wang Xiaoqian in order to contact Zhao Heidao about the car used for marriage. Now Wang Xiaoqian is in a very bad mood. Lin Feng doesn't know if he should talk about looking for a car at this time. Sit down for a while, I'll make tea for you. I found that you like green tea very much. You discovered my hobby so quickly, Lin Feng said with a smile. Don't look at me crazy, in fact, I have always been a very careful person. Wang Xiaoqian had tears in her eyes, but her smile was very charming. If it wasn't for Lin Feng, she would not have such a charming smile. When playing with other friends, Wang Xiaoqian's smile may be bold or frivolous, but it will never be charming. She is very charming and pungent. She has brought fantasies and delusions to many men, but she does not mess around. Anyone who thinks she is a woman who can easily fall in love with her is a big mistake and will pay a certain amount for it. Cost. Up to now, Wang Xiaoqian has only been charming for two people, one is Zhang Jian and the other is Lin Feng. Wang Xiaoqian made tea and brought it over. Her steps were very graceful, and the moment she moved her slender legs, she evoked Lin Feng's beautiful fantasy. In junior high school, Wang Xiaoqian's legs were slender, and even more so at this time. Slender, because she has grown a lot taller than in the first middle age. Wang Xiaoqian sat next to Lin Feng, and the smell of lily perfume surrounded Lin Feng. Although the two bodies did not touch, Lin Feng still felt Wang Xiaoqian's heat, and even felt a kind of dampness unique to a woman's body. Wang Xiaoqian said sadly, "Drink tea, I'm afraid you can see it, I'm in a bad mood, don't let my bitter melon face affect your mood." Lin Feng said, "Your face is so beautiful, no matter your mood is good or bad, your face is not a bitter face, although I am not very proficient in face-to-face, but from your face, you will be a happy woman in the future." Different people have different definitions of happiness. For a businessman, wealth is happiness. For a person in the officialdom, rising is happiness. For a woman, what is happiness? Lin Feng has thought about this question several times before, but he didn't think it clearly, because different women have given him different answers, some of which are reliable and some nonsense. For Wang Xiaoqian, what is happiness? The most standard answer is that Zhang Jian's madman is her happiness. If she has been mad without any problems, she is happy, but now that there is a problem, she is obviously unlucky. Zhang Jian was ruined, and Wang Xiaoqian's happiness was also ruined. As for whether Wang Xiaoqian can create new happiness in the future, even if it is like plastic surgery, it is hard to say. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 127. Wang Xiaoqian told her about the quarrel with her mother on the afternoon of the first day of the new year. Lin Feng was speechless. The quarrel with her parents on the first day of the new year was very painful for anyone. Lin Feng said, "Your temper is a bit big. You must not have the same attitude towards your parents and others. It is the most reliable and trustworthy thing to go into battle between father and son, and compare your life to your parents. Others may betray you and slander you for their own interests. You betray you, but your parents will never." Wang Xiaoqian's soft and hot body leaned against Lin Feng's body very hard. Lin Feng's physique was very strong, but he actually felt a kind of impact. It can be seen that Wang Xiaoqian was really hard just now. Wang Xiaoqian said, "I want to lean on your shoulder again, don't laugh at me in your heart, if you feel uncomfortable, then push me away." Lin Feng was very comfortable, so he did not push Wang Xiaoqian away. Wang Xiaoqian lit a cigarette, with a confused expression, exhaled a puff of smoke and said, "If my mother didn't talk about Zhang Jian at that time, Even if I was depressed, I would endure it, but I couldn't stand her attitude towards Jang Ji-un at that time, as if Jang Ji-un hurt me. I never felt that Jang Ji-un hurt me. From junior high school until I divorced him, he gave me a good impression. Lin Feng glanced at Wang Xiaoqian's beautiful face and said, when Zhang Jian wrote Legend of the New White Snake to that person with very bad quality, did it leave a good impression on you? Wang Xiaoqian suddenly stopped speaking. Lin Feng soon felt her body trembling, and then looked at Wang Xiaoqian's face. Her tears were already streaming down. Wang Xiaoqian punched Lin Feng's arm twice, and said aggrievedly, I'm stupid, you stimulate me. Lin Feng said, even if I irritate you, you can't just mess around with the grass. The question I asked just now is very important. If you can give a rational answer, you will still be saved. Wang Xiaoqian said, to be honest, my heart was pounding, and I felt the sky was falling. After so many years of madness, it turned out that something went wrong with madness. At that time, I even hated him a little, thinking that his madness exceeded the standard, but when he was sentenced to life, this hatred disappeared. I love him, so I feel sorry for him. I think he is pitiful. He is a madman, but the world does not provide him with a space to be arrogant. Lin Feng said that this kind of space actually exists, such as online games. Many people are arrogant in online games. Some game masters are more arrogant than Zhang Jian in reality in the games they are good at, killing them in 10 steps. One person, not staying for thousands of miles. You don't have to know your father, just look at the net name Zhang Jian is wrong, you have chosen the wrong place to be arrogant. Wang Xiaoqian said, but those game masters may be very aggrieved after they leave the game and return to reality. It may be a useless person who is slapped on the bus and dare not say anything. Lin Feng said that if the person who slapped him was a lot tougher than him, even if he didn't say anything, he wouldn't be a coward. According to the analysis of the butterfly effect, when a person slaps an innocent person, the slap will turn evil. The evil wind blows where he can't see, but when he walks forward, the evil wind may take revenge on him. Wang Xiaoqian pondered for a moment, leaned against Lin Feng with her fragrant shoulders, and said in a coquettish voice, that your theory just now is more than Liaozai. The evil wind that blows will take revenge on me? Lin Feng said that it is almost like this. If a driver runs into someone and escapes, then he or his descendants may suffer the same accident. The butterfly effect is everywhere. Wang Xiaoqian said, you bastard, do you think my current situation is because I slapped you in the face when I was in junior high school? Lin Feng didn't know what to say. If he said yes, Wang Xiaoqian might scold him and burst into tears. If he said no, he would instantly deny the profound theory he had just thought about. Lin Feng didn't say anything, but his expression was weird. Wang Xiaoqian finally got mad, pinched Lin Feng by the neck and pushed him down on the sofa. The whole hot and full body was pressed up, the full chest squeezed Lin Feng's body hard, and there was less than one face between the two people's faces. The distance of centimeters may touch each other at any time. Wang Xiaoqian said, Lin Feng, thank you for having a crush on me back then. Lin Feng was relieved a lot. He thought Wang Xiaoqian would attack him sharply, but he didn't expect to say such friendly words. Lin Feng said, no need to thank you. In fact, when I was in junior high school, you brought me a lot of good things. Sometimes when I was lazy and wanted to ask for leave and not go to school, I thought of you, so I might not ask for leave, because when I went to school, I would not ask for leave. May see you. Wang Xiaoqian sighed and said, it's a pity that I failed you back then and didn't play the game of puppy love with you. Lin Feng said, I was ready to be remembered as a major demerit back then, but you didn't give me this chance. Wang Xiaoqian's full and hot body was pressed on Lin Feng's body for almost 10 minutes. When Lin Feng wanted to kiss her, she sat up, raised her long rose-red hair and said, oh, I forgot to ask you, what's the matter with me this time? If you don't have something to do this time, I don't think you will contact me within 5 days. Lin Feng mentioned Zhao Heidao. Wang Xiaoqian immediately laughed and asked Lin Feng, how is he doing now? The impression he gave me was that of the wind and fire. Lin Feng said, he is happy, but he is also unfortunate. You will be surprised when I tell you about him. Wang Xiaoqian smiled slightly and listened. Lin Feng spoke out about the emotional entanglement between Zhao Heidao, the daughter of a coal boss in Jin province, Su Qingyuan, and Meng Suili, a sister from Shu province. Wang Xiaoqian was immediately stunned, and said stunned, Zhao Heidao would rather give up Su Qingyuan, who is worth more than 1 billion yuan, for a small cashier. Has his brain been flooded? Lin Feng said, I don't know if his brain is flooded. You say he is flooded, but he thinks that he is not, that may be because his brain is his own, and he is better than others. Know more about his brain. Wang Xiaoqian said that Zhao Heidao is not an ordinary person who dares to take responsibility for a Aineng to make such a choice. He is not an ordinary person. Lin Feng said that Zhao Heidao wanted the Shu province girl to get a good car when she married him, so I want you to help him contact a few cars. Wang Xiaoqian said, no problem, AI Beijing Cayenne, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Land Rover and Hummer, what do you want? Lin Feng said that a Mercedes-Benz 600 was used as a wedding car, and then there were 2 BMW 7 Series and 3 Autos. Wang Xiaoqian slapped Lin Feng's arm and said with a smile, is this a bit low grade? I think it's better to switch to the Northern Jet Cayenne as a wedding car, and then the other 5 cars are all Mercedes-Benz. Lin Feng doesn't think that the Beijing Cayenne is superior to the Mercedes-Benz 600, but he didn't explain it, and said, don't do this, just follow my standard. I have waited so as not to irritate Su Qingyuan. Wang Xiaoqian laughed twice, but the laughter stopped abruptly. Su Qingyuan had been stimulated to the point of being tender on the outside. No matter whether the wedding car was a luxury car or a tricycle, it would continue to stimulate her. In Su Qingyuan's eyes, according to what you just introduced to me, Su Qingyuan is a top model who likes to collect Lamborghinis and Bugatti Veyrons. Lin Feng kneaded Wang Xiaoqian's chest through the clothes for a moment, and said with a smile, just look for it according to the standard I said. Wang Xiaoqian has nothing to say. Lin Feng's touch made her feel quite a bit, and she gradually began to breathe. When Lin Feng's mouth came close, Wang Xiaoqian's red lips opened, and in the hot kiss, Wang Xiaoqian's sweet tongue was extremely dexterous. Wang Xiaoqian's cell phone rang and she was about to answer the phone, so she could only stop kissing Lin Feng. She glanced at Lin Feng's face resentfully, as if to remind him that you kissed me a little hard just now. Your lips are about to bite you. If it wasn't for Zhang's call, Lin Feng wouldn't have the chance to have an affair with Wang Xiaoqian, who was his crush in junior high school. If Zhang Jian was there, I don't know if Wang Xiaoqian would look at him directly, I'm afraid he would continue to be mad at him. However, one of the results that Lin Feng is even more relieved is that Zhang Jian was not so mad that he hacked people to death, and he was not sentenced to life, but continued to live with Wang Xiaoqian. The person who called Wang Xiaoqian was a boy nicknamed Hedgehog who also graduated from No. 2 middle school. After finishing middle school, she went to work in the city. First, she helped a relative's Xianghe meat pie shop, and then he opened a stall to sell liangpi, and then he got into the society and got into fights. He went to the detention center a few times, but it made him more and more courageous. Now he is back in Shuiqing County, and wants to make a world of it. Hedgehog said, Sister Wang, when you are mentioned in our county town, many people are afraid. You are an authentic eldest sister, and my little brother. I am willing to be a green leaf. I want to move you out of the mountains and pull a gang out, because I have communicated with you several times about this matter but you have never had that heart. What do you want? Wang Xiaoqian sneered and said, Hedgehog, you are not big and your tone is ruthless. Are you threatening me just now? Hedgehog said, in Shuiqing County, the person who dares to threaten you doesn't seem to be born yet. What I said to you just now, little brother, is not a threat. Wang Xiaoqian was very stimulated by the words break the world, because Zhang Jian often talked about breaking into the world when he was in junior high school. He wanted to let the people in Shuiqing County know how powerful he was, and to let the whole city know how powerful he was. People in Huaxia know how powerful he is. If you want to be a hero, you want to go crazy. Wang Xiaoqian said coldly, Hedgehog, I warn you, if you want to break into the world, just take those boys to break in by yourself. Don't try to drag me into the game. If you continue to entangle me, I will be very welcome. Hedgehog said, Sister Wang, I know you are crazy, but you really don't want to be crazy with me. I won't eat your way. Do you believe that I set fire to your Shu city? Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 128. Who is Wang Xiaoqian? She has always used this tone to speak to others, and the most unbearable thing is that others speak to her in this tone. Wang Xiaoqian said, if Zhang Jian was still by my side, would you dare to tell me that? Hedgehog said that Zhang Jiao was too strong, but Zhang Jian is already in the past, and the back waves of the Yangtze River pushed Jian Lang Ai. Now, everyone in the society of Shuiqing County has to give me a little face, including you. Wang Xiaoqian said, let's find a place to chat, and see you in Baishan in an hour. Hedgehog sneered and said, Sister Wang, although the first day of the new year has passed, it's still a new year. You don't invite me to drink at your house, but invite me to Baishan. It seems that you want to give me some color. Wang Xiaoqian said, whatever you think, if you have the guts, go there, if you don't have the guts, don't call the old lady in the future. Hedgehog laughed wildly and said, if I am afraid of you, then I am not a hedgehog, and I am not a material to break into the world. Wang Xiaoqian's face was pale, she looked at Lin Feng, you see, I want to be quiet, but someone won't let me be quiet. AI Hedgehog wants to burn my Shu city, I'm so angry. Lin Feng said, what is the background of the hedgehog? Wang Xiaoqian said that his father's name is Li Yundu, who repairs motorcycles. The Yundu motorcycle repair shop next to a small road in the south of the county is his home. His mother is unemployed and has 2 mahjong tables at home. Usually, some people go there, play mahjong and draw money. Lin Feng waited for a moment and felt that since Hedgehog's father is a motorcycle repairer, the background is not that great. As for Hedgehog's mother, who set up 2 mahjong tables, it is not even a casino. Lin Feng still knows a lot about people with some background in Shuiqing County. Even if he has been outside since he was in college, he is from Shuiqing County after all, and he can understand what he should know. Wang Xiaoqian said, Lin Feng, let's go, she said, and walked towards the bedroom. When she came out, she carried a half-meter-long machete and a high-powered electric baton in her hand. Lin Feng smiled, Xiaoqian, are you going to fight the hedgehogs with a machete in your right hand and an electric baton in your left? Wang Xiaoqian sneered and said, they are just a bunch of rabble, don't think I can't scare them, if I hurt a few of them, don't everyone else just drop their butts and run away? Lin Feng said, I'm afraid that they will severely injure you. The hedgehog is too eager to make a name for himself, so he might stab you. Why don't I go with you? Put down the machete and electric baton in your hand. Wang Xiaoqian was so moved that she immediately held a machete in one hand and an electric baton in the other and threw herself into Lin Feng's arms. The moment Lin Feng hugged Wang Xiaoqian's full body, she had to remind her not to push the button of that electric man indiscriminately. I flew out, if you electrocute me, my kung fu won't work. Wang Xiaoqian's tears were still flowing, but her tears turned into a smile, and she said softly, don't worry, you kid. If I can't get you, even if I really want to, I don't need an electric baton. Use your chest or something else. Less hooligans. Listen to me, put down the machete and electric baton. I just want to help you repair people, but I don't want to get into trouble, otherwise my parents will, and my novel may be broken, Lin Feng said. I know you know Kung Fu, but you can't be too confident in front of me, a beautiful woman. You think you can hit a lot of people with your bare hands? If the hedgehog takes 20 or 30 people, how will you deal with it? My leg skills are sharper than machetes and electric batons, you'll know when the time comes, Lin Feng said. Wang Xiaoqian just knew that Lin Feng's kung fu was good, but she didn't know how many people Lin Feng could fight. She thought that at most Lin Feng could deal with 7 or 8 ordinary people by himself, which was already amazing. If the hedgehog took 2 or 3 over there, 10 people, only she and Lin Feng went over with their bare hands. If they really fought, they would be beaten into mud. Lin Feng, this kind of thing you have encountered before is too little, you have to listen to me, you have to take the guy over there. I have no objection to you going with me, but you can always take an electric baton and I can take a machete. Bar. Xiaoqian, besides your parents and Zhang Jian, have you trusted anyone else? Hearing what Lin Feng said, Wang Xiaoqian was stunned, staring at Lin Feng's eyes for a long time, wondering, can you really do it? Lin Feng said, when you get to Baishan and meet those hedgehogs, you will know if I can do it. Wang Xiaoqian said, but at that time, if you can't do it, it will be too late. Maybe one of the two of us will die. Hedgehog wants to be famous too much now. Lin Feng said, since I'm gone, I usually won't kill anyone. If one has to die, let the hedgehog die. If I kill the hedgehog, you have to be me as a witness during the trial. Lin Feng even thought about the court session. It can be seen that he thought about the issue very well, and it didn't seem like his mind was particularly hot. Wang Xiaoqian said, okay, let's go over with our bare hands. I'd like to see if your serious is stronger than Zhang Jian. Wang Xiaoqian felt that Zhang Jian would not be Lin Feng's opponent in a heads-up match, but in terms of deterrence, Lin Feng might not be able to compete with Zhang Jian. When Zhang Jian put his hands in his trouser pockets and shouted out the beginning of a man, it made people very frightened, because what people heard was the beginning of a man, but what they thought of was a wielding machete. When you hear it, the people who hear it will be even more afraid. When you hear Zhang Jian sing, look at the sky above the sky, walk and walk on the ground, the road is difficult, it is even more difficult to open the road, and when people sigh for you later, the people who hear it will stand up and turn around and run away, because how many words there are means how many knives can be cut. No way out is difficult, and it is indeed even more difficult to open a way, but Zhang Jian has no way out, he has no time limit, some people sigh for him, some people are widowed for him. Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian went to Baishan together. The two of them didn't bring anything with them. They stood in the open space at the foot of Baishan, looking at the dead grass under their feet in the cold wind. After a while, they both looked at each other's faces, showing a strange smile. Wang Xiaoqian said, when I was in junior high school, I only knew that you had a crush on me, and then I knew that you knew Kung Fu, but I didn't know you well at the time. Now, after many years, I realized that you are a very interesting person and a very happy person. If you know that you are such a person, maybe our relationship can be better in the past days. Lin Feng said, even if you knew a lot about me in junior high school, and even if our relationship could be better, can I replace Zhang Jian? Wang Xiaoqian was stunned, hesitated for a moment, shook her head, and said in a low voice, Zhang Jian is someone I can never let go of. Lin Feng lit a cigarette, took a puff of resentment, exhaled a puff of smoke at the distant mountain, then squinted his eyes and looked at Wang Xiaoqian's charming face, and said, no matter what happens in Zhang Ji's life, he will encounter you are worth it. A very old Grand Cherokee took the lead, followed by two vans, which drove along the path. There was dust behind the cars. He must have brought people here. Lin Feng suspects where this Grand Cherokee came from. Wang Xiaoqian said with a cold expression, watching this battle, there are no shortage of people, there are at least 20 people, according to the style of the hedgehog, there must be guys with him. Lin Feng's expression was still calm, and he said softly, "It's okay." Wang Xiaoqian said, "You don't seem to be afraid of anything." Lin Feng said, "I came here with you like this, to help you solve the problem, not to die." The Grand Cherokee and the two vans stopped on the side of the road less than 10 meters away from Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian. The doors were all opened, and the hedgehog got out of the Grand Cherokee, with more than 20 people behind them. Lin Feng quickly counted it. Including the hedgehogs, there were 26 people in total. Some were holding iron rods, some were holding throwing rods, but they didn't have machetes. Hedgehog is 20 years old this year, and Lin Feng will be 26 years old after the Spring Festival. Although they all came out of number 2 middle school, Lin Feng is several years earlier than Hedgehog. In addition, Lin Feng is usually relatively low-key, so Hedgehog does not know him. Who is it? Hedgehog's windbreaker is open, wearing a sweater he knitted for him, with a contemptuous smile on his mouth, looking at Wang Xiaoqian's face and saying, "Sister Wang, you are also a hero among women, but I have to despise today. Uai, since Zhang Jian was locked up, you've been getting worse every day. You didn't have the guts to come here alone, and you actually ask such an unprofessional thing to come with you. Who can he introduce to the younger brother?" Wang Xiaoqian said that his name is Lin Feng. He also went to number 2 middle school in junior high school, then he went to number 1 middle school in high school, and then went to a university in another place. Have you heard of him? Hedgehog suddenly laughed strangely, walked a few steps towards Lin Feng and said, "I think you should have successfully graduated from university. I guess you are still an undergraduate, so I will call you Mr. Bachelor. Hello, Mr. Bachelor. I don't think you are someone who likes to cause trouble. You don't have to risk your life even for beautiful women. Do you see these brothers behind me? Anyone can break your legs, get out of here before I order them to fuck." With a bang, Lin Feng's fist slammed into the hedgehog's chest, and the hedgehog let out a muffled cry, leaned back and flew out. If Lin Feng just kicked the hedgehog in the face just now, the hedgehog would have fainted with blood all over his face. Once the hedgehog is seriously injured and hospitalized, the problem will become serious. Even if the hedgehog's parents are not strong enough, there will be a splash, and then Lin Feng's parents will worry about him. After he fell to the ground, the hedgehog cried out in pain, "Come on together, repair that kid hard, break his legs, hurry up and break his legs for me." A group of people rushed towards Lin Feng waving iron rods and swinging sticks. After Lin Feng swept his legs a few times, 6 people fell to the ground, and the iron and swinging sticks also fell. The sticks used by these people were probably purchased online, and the quality was not very good. 2 of them were broken on the spot. Just a few seconds ago, Lin Feng turned over 6 people. Wang Xiaoqian wanted to shoot, but before she could kick her feet out, the first wave of people who rushed over all fell down. Very fast and sturdy legs. It was just dazzling. Wang Xiaoqian couldn't even believe that such a mighty leg skill was performed by Lin Feng. The hedgehog who fell on the ground was also dumbfounded. Only then did he realize that what Wang Xiaoqian brought here was not a straw bag, but a top kung fu master. Another wave of people leaned over. Lin Feng's expression was still very relaxed, and he showed a very charming smile to Wang Xiaoqian. "You sit on the side for a while, and I'll finish the fight later." Since Lin Feng's kung fu is so fierce, Wang Xiaoqian doesn't plan to cause trouble for him. It's better to sit and admire his kung fu with him. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 129. Hearing a roar, A bald head with a high imitation gold chain around his neck hit Lin Feng in the head with a swing stick. If it is a high-quality throwing stick, don't hit people in the head, otherwise it is easy to open the scoop. Leaving a scar of 10 centimeters is a trivial matter. Lin Feng lightly moved away from the man's arm wielding the stick, and then snapped his imitation gold chain, punching him in the face. The man twisted the twist and flew out, unexpectedly hitting the hedgehog. Body. Hedgehog screamed, and the injury was worse than before. He repeatedly called the person who hit him a bastard. Maybe that person has a sister, so the hedgehog also said, "Crap your sister." After Lin Feng swept his legs again, 15 people had fallen to the ground, and 11 people were still standing on the ground. They had never seen someone as capable of hitting as Lin Feng, not less than 2. I brought down so many people in minutes, and I didn't get hurt at all. The reason why Lin Feng is able to show his extraordinary fighting power in one-to-many situations is because of his strong leg skills. If he is only good at using his fists, even if his fists are very strong, he will be easily injured in one-to-many situations. Those who are still capable of fighting did not dare to go up, and the hedgehog who was still on the ground did not dare to yell and let the others continue to go up. What he wanted to do most now was to escape, but Lin Feng was already walking towards him slowly. "Come over." Hedgehog supported his body with his arms and kept retreating. When Lin Feng stepped on his chest, he also lay down. Lin Feng lit a cigarette and blew a puff of smoke on the hedgehog's face, but the smoke dissipated in the cold wind without touching the hedgehog's face. Lin Feng looked at the hedgehog with contempt, and said with disdain, "Just like you still want to pull a gang out. Your personal combat power is too poor, your parents are nothing, even if you throw you into the sea to feed the fish will eat it not full. What are you?" The hedgehog trembled and said, "Brother Lin, my brother is wrong, you treat me like a fart and forget it. It's really not very promising." Compared with Zhang Jian back then, this hedgehog is 108,000 miles away. Even if Zhang Jian was caught back then, he wouldn't say such spineless words. Lin Feng grabbed the hedgehog and walked over to Wang Xiaoqian, who was sitting on the side watching the fun. He threw the hedgehog at Wang Xiaoqian's feet and said with a smile, "You can deal with it? You can mark it as you want." Wang Xiaoqian slapped the hedgehog in the face with an understated slap, and the hedgehog's nose bleed immediately. It can be seen that Wang Xiaoqian's slender hands are very sharp. Wang Xiaoqian slapped the hedgehog again and sneered, "You really annoyed the old lady some time ago. If I hadn't reminded Lin Feng not to seriously hurt you, now you are all disabled." Hedgehog panicked and said, "Sister Wang, thank you for your generosity. I won't cause you any trouble in the future, and I will listen to you in the future." Wang Xiaoqian said, "Who cares about a thing like you? You can do whatever you want, as long as you don't disturb me, otherwise I will make you crippled next time. Even if you don't, it doesn't matter, you can buy a wheelchair for yourself online, just like the procedure you used to buy a wheelchair for these stinky boys." Hedgehog's nose was bleeding and his face was sallow. Only then did he clearly realize that Zhang was still old and hot. Although Zhang Jian was locked up, a perverted master who was not sure how many times stronger than Zhang Jiao appeared next to Wang Xiaoqian. This is too powerful. It is so sturdy that people who see it can't believe it, the hedgehog can't believe it, and Wang Xiaoqian can't believe it. After seeing the scene just now, Wang Xiaoqian almost doesn't know Lin Feng anymore. Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian walked away together. When Wang Xiaoqian took his arm, Lin Feng did not push her away. Seeing that Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian are so close, the hedgehog thought that this bachelor named Lin Feng is Wang Xiaoqian's current man, with a combat power of 100 points. A long-haired boy who was definitely no more than 20 years old said, "Brother Hedgehog, they are gone." Hedgehog said, "I'm gone. Lin Feng is so good at fighting. If none of us can stop him and make money, don't bother Wang Xiaoqian anymore." Someone else said, "Brother Hedgehog, Why don't we let Lin Feng be our boss? He will take us to the world, it must be very enjoyable. Hedgehog said, I guess Lin Feng doesn't even love birds. Hedgehog was also thinking, it would be great if he could be Lin Feng's apprentice. He could learn his leg skills and beat anyone he wanted, but he felt that Lin Feng would not accept him as his apprentice, but he might invite him to drink urine. Went to Wang Xiaoqian's house again. As soon as Lin Feng sat on the sofa, Wang Xiaoqian sat on his lap and massaged his legs with her round buttocks. At the same time, she showed a charming smile and kissed his face several times. Feeling the softness of Wang Xiaoqian's buttocks and the warmth of Wang Xiaoqian's red lips, Lin Feng's heartbeat was very violent, and she even wanted to get entangled with Wang Xiaoqian immediately. Wang Xiaoqian said, you can really fight. According to your current combat effectiveness, you are already very good at fighting in junior high school. When I slapped you in the face, you were fully capable of repairing me in turn, even if I continued to look for it. People repair you, and it's me who is repaired in the end. Lin Feng said, I didn't want to cause trouble back then, and now I don't want to cause trouble either. I even want everyone in the world not to know that I can kung fu, but it's impossible. I don't want to fight people at all, but Lin Feng has fought people many times since he learned kung fu. He has never been defeated in the fight, but he has also been repaired in other ways. Wang Xiaoqian repaired him in junior high school. After arriving in Beijing, Miss Ye also repaired him, and he also begged Black Rose. So far, Lin Feng has not thought of a way to get rid of Black Rose. If he is not careful, he may become Black Rose's cannon fodder. There are times when he is handsome, and there are times when he is very embarrassed. When he is handsome, some people see him, and when he is very embarrassed, some people see him, so some people think he is very attractive, and some people think he is not very attractive. Lin Feng and Wang Xiaoqian had a very tacit understanding, neither of them proposed to kiss, but they kissed enthusiastically. During the kiss, Lin Feng's hand reached into Wang Xiaoqian's chest photo, stroking her full breasts. Skin is delicate and elastic. When Lin Feng took out his hand, the smell of Wang Xiaoqian's skin was all over his hand, and he even put his hand under his nostrils and smelled it. Wang Xiaoqian couldn't help laughing, and looked at Lin Feng's face with a bit of sympathy. You are so bad, you touch me and put it under your nostrils to smell it. Lin Feng said, you smell very good. Wang Xiaoqian said, you didn't smell it when you were in junior high school, but now you smell it. Lin Feng said, it should be said that your taste is better now than when you were in junior high school. When you were in junior high school, you were a little girl, and you didn't even have your period for a long time. Wang Xiaoqian said, do you want to do that with me? Lin Feng said, I don't want to. Wang Xiaoqian hesitated for a moment and said, actually I don't want to either. I just asked casually, don't think I'm a casual woman. Lin Feng knew that Wang Xiaoqian wanted to do that thing very much at this time. Since Zhang Jian was locked up, she had never done that thing with anyone. Wang Xiaoqian also knew that Lin Feng wanted to fall in love with her, but Lin Feng did not dare to fall in love with her because of concerns in his heart. Night. When Lin Feng typed the word, Yang Chunbeixiu still did not appear, but Lin Feng still clicked on Yang Chunbeixiu's avatar and looked at it twice. Maybe it was because Yang Chunbeixiu was too mysterious, so Lin Feng wanted to chat with her very much, and wanted to uncover her mystery. Maybe it was someone he knew, maybe it was a strange netizen. Lin Feng doesn't know if he will have a chance to meet Yang Chunbeixiu after he arrives in Beijing. If so, Yang Chunbeixiu may be waiting for him alone, or he may be waiting for him with the child, and then tell the child that this strange uncle is a mother netizen. Before 1 o'clock in the morning, Lin Feng came out with more than 10,000 words, took a shower and lay down on the bed. The phone rang and it was Dinan who called. Lin Feng picked it up and said, Dinan, you haven't slept yet? Dinan said, no, I was watching a movie just now, but I still can't sleep, So I called you and asked you, have you thought about doing business with me these days? Lin Feng said, I thought about it. Dinan said eagerly, have you made up your mind? I think if we are a partnership, 90% of them may not lose money, maybe we can make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. If you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year by doing a little business, then the business people will have a better life. In some companies, the boss works for the employees. Some employees get high salaries and some get ordinary salaries. The boss may not earn a few dollars or lose money after a busy year. The same goes for the owners of various stores. The stores look good, but they may earn tens of thousands of yuan a year or even lose money. Lin Feng said, I will think about it when I get to Beijing, and I will tell you the answer in my partition room. Dinan said, when are you coming? Lin Feng said, it must be after March 9th, and I have to wait to attend the wedding of a good brother of mine. Dinan was very depressed, for fear that if Lin Feng would not partner with her, she would definitely not be able to do it alone, but Lin Feng did not reply to her immediately, so she could only continue to wait. It's March. It is getting closer and closer to the wedding of Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili, a sister from Shu province. Zhao Heidao's parents have a lot of criticism about the wedding, and they even consulted with Lin Feng's parents to see if there is any way to dispel Zhao Heidao's idea of marrying Meng Suili. They think that their son is a graduate of a major university, and they cannot find a wife with a low degree. This way, they may not live together. Although Meng Suili is pregnant, the month is not too big, and there is still time for an abortion. Ro. Although Lin Tixin and Lu Shuken had a good relationship with Zhao Heidao's parents, they did not support their idea. Instead, they supported Zhao Heidao's marriage to Meng Suili. Lin Tixin said that since the two children have come to this stage, it is fate. They have cultivated together for 10 years, and they can sleep together in 100 years. Even if they sleep together, they may not be able to conceive. Since Meng Suili is pregnant with Zhao Heidao's child, let them get married. Lu Shuken said that Heidao is an undergraduate student at a key university, and it is natural to be able to find someone with comparable conditions. Zhao Heidao's parents immediately mentioned Su Qingyuan, the daughter of the coal boss, who is worth more than 1 billion yuan. If Zhao Heidao and Su Qingyuan get married, the glory and wealth of this life will be guaranteed. If the food is delicious and the spicy food is well lived, the parents will be happy when they watch their son enjoy the happiness. Lin Feng finally spoke up. He said that since Zhao Heidao gave up Su Qingyuan and chose Meng Suili, it means that his relationship with Meng Suili is deeper than that with Su Qingyuan. Comparison, because in reality, Meng Suili and Su Qingyuan are not comparable at all. If we can see the difference by scoring, Su Qingyuan is 100 points, then Meng Suili is at most 30 points. Lin Feng almost said that the fate between some men and women is to eat together, some sleep together, and some get married and live together. But when talking to the elders, try to be as little ambiguous as possible, otherwise it will make the elders feel weird. The wedding was on March 9th, and it was not until March 5th that Meng Suili came to Shuiqing County. Zhao Heidao personally went to Wenchuan, Shu province to pick her up. She was accompanied by a fellow countryman, who was petite and well-proportioned in appearance. The girl who is about the same height as Meng Suili intends to be a bridesmaid for Meng Suili. Meng Suili's family has very few relatives. Her parents and younger siblings were all killed in the earthquake. It can be said that she has no family members. According to the customs of Shuiqing County, even when the wedding is held in the south, the woman will have to come to several family members, but Meng Suili only came with the girl named Xiaomei. Zhao Heidao's parents saw Meng Suili for the first time. The first impression was much better than they expected. She had a beautiful face and a good figure, especially her skin was fair and delicate. She was a very attractive girl. At the same time, Meng Suili smiled very friendly and spoke with a local accent, but she would never say that Zhao Heidao's parents are both hammers, One is a male hammer and the other is a female hammer. Uncles and aunts are very affectionate with her mother. At the same time, Zhao Heidao's parents want to pay Meng Suili to change her speech. This evening, Zhao Heidao brought Meng Suili and Xiaomei to Lin Feng's house, and Lin Feng called this girl from Shu province who was having an affair with Zhao Heidao. I am afraid that when Zhao Heidao arrives at his restaurant, when he sees Meng Suili, the thing will harden, and finally he can't help it, so he also gave Meng Suili to him in his relationship with Su Qingyuan. Lin Feng knew that Su Qingyuan didn't mind Zhao Heidao's marriage to Meng Suili, but she was very concerned that Zhao Heidao married Meng Suili. Su Qingyuan even said that if you like Meng Suili, you can continue to marry Meng Suili after we get married, but Zhao Heidao wants to marry Meng Suili. A top-level handsome guy shocks the world. It can be said that he is unstoppable and fearless. Sitting in the living room, drinking tea and chatting, Meng Suili said that she often heard Heidao mention you before, saying that you are a very talented and highly skilled person, and that you are both civil and military. Lin Feng said, that's why he's bragging about me. I'm not that good, and writing online novels is just a slap in the face. As for Kung Fu, whoever hits people when it doesn't matter. Meng Suili said, you are Heidao's best friend. Although Heidao and I are about to get married, I still have a few words to tell you. In fact, I don't expect Heidao to marry me. He only needs to know that I love him. Enough, I can raise the child by myself. I don't even ask him for child support. Even if he gets rich in the future, I won't go to court to sue for compensation. I don't want anything, I just want the child in my womb. I don't have a family, I'm scared every day, so I'd love to have a baby. Lin Feng said, I understand. Meng Suili cried. Zhao Heidao was very embarrassed. He took Meng Suili into his arms and said, don't cry, I'm getting married soon. I'm married to you. Meng Suili is still crying. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 130. Walking on the road of Shuiqing County, the cold wind blew on his face. Lin Feng soon arrived at number 2 middle school, and the buildings on the nearby road have changed a lot compared to when he was in junior high school. There used to be many bungalows, but now they have changed. It became a planned community, which made him a little unknown. Walking into the school gate of number 2 middle school, not far away is the main teaching building. The original building has been renovated. The dormitory buildings on both sides are newly built. The original bungalow has become a 2-story building. People who study in the second middle school usually stay in M. When Lin Feng was in junior high school, the dormitory students were often bullied by the school or rusty people, some were forced to ask for money, and some were slapped for no reason, but now the situation is much better, probably because 110 is more convenient than before. But junior high school students are all in the rebellious age group. Compared with high school students, they are especially not calm. Fighting over trivial matters still happens from time to time. Not many people, unless you stabbed someone or hit them badly. If everyone who fights will be expelled, then there will be too many people expelled every year, and the principal will offend too many people because of this. They may not be able to continue, or they may be stopped on the road to clean up, and they may be destroyed by others. Possibly at home. The principal is not a fool, so the principal will not dismiss a student easily. Even in a serious situation, he must first find out what is the relationship of the student's family. When Lin Feng walked to the playground, he saw a person and was stunned. It turned out to be Wang Xiaoqian. Lin Feng laughed, and Wang Xiaoqian also laughed. Lin Feng walked over slowly, wanting to hug Wang Xiaoqian's graceful body into his arms, but he resisted the urge, took out a cigarette and gave it to Wang Xiaoqian, smiling, "You are here too." Wang Xiaoqian lit a cigarette and blew a breath of smoke into Lin Feng's face. I'm here to relax, I didn't expect to meet you. Lin Feng said, maybe this is the legendary soul. Wang Xiaoqian said that Zhang Jian also liked those two poems very much. Lin Feng said, I knew you would mention Zhang Jian, maybe because you missed him too much, so you came to number 2 middle school to find that feeling before, right? Wang Xiaoqian didn't say anything. She was silent for a long time. When Lin Feng looked at her face again, she realized that she was already in tears. Lin Feng grabbed Wang Xiaoqian's hand and wondered, what's wrong? Did something happen to Zhang Jian in prison? Wang Xiaoqian said, no, I just dreamed of him last night. I dreamed that he died in prison. He died tragically. He was beaten to death by someone in the same cell. If Zhang Jian continued to be mad in the prison, he might be beaten to death by someone in the same cell, but Lin Feng absolutely cannot analyze in this direction, otherwise Wang Xiaoqian's heart will not be settled. Lin Feng said, that's just a dream. I think Zhang Jian will be much more low-key in prison than before. I'm afraid that on the day he is sentenced to life, his goal is to come out as soon as possible. He will definitely do well. See you sooner. Wang Xiaoqian threw herself into Lin Feng's arms. Lin Feng could only hug her, and felt the contours of her towering breasts, so soft and elastic. Lin Feng's body couldn't help but stand tall and straight. But Zhang Jian in the prison didn't think that Wang Xiaoqian was crying in Lin Feng's arms, and Wang Xiaoqian and Lin Feng had a certain degree of ambiguity. The most important thing in Wang Xiaoqian's heart is Zhang Jian. Although she is divorced, Wang Xiaoqian will still visit the prison. She will bring Zhang Jian a lot of delicious food and a lot of good cigarettes. When visiting the prison, she will not mention Lin Feng, so as not to be stimulated Zhang Jian's heart. Lin Feng said, how much do you plan to pay when Heidao gets married? Wang Xiaoqian said, it depends on how much you play, I'll be with you. Lin Feng said, I paid 1,000 yuan. Wang Xiaoqian said, then I also pay 1,000 yuan, and you are true. Your relationship with Heidao is so strong, you can't pay more. If you pay 5,000 yuan, I will follow you to pay 5,000 yuan. Lin Feng said that 5,000 yuan has the same effect as 1,000 yuan. Heidao doesn't value money, otherwise he would choose Su Qingyuan, who is worth more than 1 billion yuan. Wang Xiaoqian said, it makes sense. I am finding more and more that you are a very thoughtful person. If Zhang Jian also had your brain, he would not have been reduced to this level. Lin Feng said, if Zhang Ji had my brain, he would not recite the 3-character classic when he was beating people, and he would not sing when he was beating people. In other words, he would not be easily beating people. You have also seen the scene of people fighting at the foot of Baishan. I didn't fight a single life. If someone else said something that belittled Zhang Jian, Wang Xiaoqian would be very angry, and he might even get angry on the spot, but Lin Feng said so. Wang Xiaoqian just felt a little uncomfortable, and she had to admit that Lin Feng was very reasonable. Wang Xiaoqian couldn't help but think, if Zhang Jian had such a high level of skill as Lin Feng, would he kill people every day? Lin Feng said, I know that Zhang Jian is a godlike existence in your heart. What I just said did not mean to belittle Zhang Jian, but just expressed a fact. Wang Xiaoqian said, you are right, but my favorite is Zhang Jian. Lin Feng did not continue to talk about this topic, otherwise he would be suspected of instigating Wang Xiaoqian to have a relationship with him. Lin Feng's cell phone rang. It was a number he had never seen before, but the caller ID was Taiyuan, Jin Province. Lin Feng immediately thought of a person, that is Su Qingyuan, the daughter of the coal boss. Maybe Su Qingyuan got his mobile phone number from Zhao Heidao before, but she never contacted him. 2. Su Qingyuan didn't need to contact him before, but now Zhao Heidao is about to have a wedding with Meng Suili, a sister from Shu province. Lin Feng picked it up, and it really was Su Qingyuan. Only then did Lin Feng realize that Su Qingyuan spoke very sweetly and spoke Mandarin very well. Lin Feng said, Su Qingyuan, why did you remember to call me? Su Qingyuan said, I have already arrived in Shuiqing County. I arrived yesterday afternoon and stayed at the hotel last night. I originally wanted to surprise Heidao with his sudden appearance at the wedding, but I thought later that I should contact you first. Relatively stable. If Su Qingyuan suddenly appeared at Zhao Heidao's wedding, I'm afraid it would not be a surprise, but a thunderstorm. Both Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili might collapse, and Zhao Heidao's parents might also collapse. Su Qingyuan was definitely not here to wish Gang Heidao, but to make trouble. Lin Feng felt very anxious. Lin Feng said, if you really love Heidao, you should think more about him. You shouldn't come at all, but since you're here, I'll see you. Where are you? I will look for you. Su Qingyuan said that the Peach Blossom Hotel. Lin Feng said, wait for me, I'll be there in half an hour. Lin Feng went to find Su Qingyuan, and Wang Xiaoqian walked around the campus of No. 2 Middle School by herself for more than 10 minutes before leaving to go to her Shu City. Lin Feng met Su Qingyuan in the room of the Peach Blossom Hotel, and also saw a woman named Cao Lin who she brought over. Cao Lin is about 30 years old, with a normal appearance but a very hot body, very agile and powerful. Su Qingyuan said that Cao Lin was her friend, but Lin Feng felt that Cao Lin was more likely to be Su Qingyuan's friend. Su Qingyuan is indeed very beautiful. She looks even better than the photos in person. She has a beautiful face, big almond eyes, small cherry mouth, plump breasts, a slender figure, and her whole body is full of extravagance. This kind of extravagance is nurtured by huge wealth, and it is impossible to pretend under normal circumstances. Zhao Heidao gave up such a beautiful and rich woman for Meng Suili, a sister from Shu province. It can be seen that his courage has reached the level of shocking ghosts and gods. Just seeing Su Qingyuan for the first time, Lin Feng felt that this was a person who loved her. A woman who can't be let go, and I don't know how Zhao Heidao was so cruel at that time. Although they are very hard buddies, their friendship for many years is not a solution, but when they saw Su Qingyuan, Lin Feng had to look at Zhao Heidao with admiration. Su Qingyuan entertained Lin Feng with a small bag of tea in the hotel room, brewed tea, and sat beside him. She said sadly, Lin Feng, do you think that I'm extremely sad? Lin Feng said that it is very sad, but Heidao is also very sad, and Meng Suili is also sad. You three are also sad. Su Qingyuan smiled, naturally, with a wry smile. Cao Lin, who was sitting next to her, also smiled slightly. Su Qingyuan said, is you the best man? Lin Feng said, it's me. Su Qingyuan said, I know that Meng Suili will definitely bring a girl from her hometown to be a bridesmaid, but since I am here, I want to be a bridesmaid. It's crazy enough. He couldn't marry Zhao Heidao in person, so he had to be a bridesmaid for Meng Suili. Lin Feng found that the situation was more serious than he thought. Lin Feng lit a cigarette, took a sharp puff, frowned and said, I'll come when I'm here. When you come to our place, you're a guest, so don't make trouble, okay? Su Qingyuan's face was a little ugly, she sneered and said, are you intimidating me? Do you think I'm a frightened person? I've scared a lot of people, but no one has scared me yet. Lin Feng was not angry, he said with a smile, you may have misunderstood what I meant just now, I am not trying to intimidate you, but to persuade you with good words. Su Qingyuan said that persuading well when it should not be persuaded is intimidation. Lin Feng felt that if he continued to talk about this topic, it would not be far from Su Qingyuan calling him a trigger. Lin Feng didn't want to quarrel with Su Qingyuan in this hotel room. Even if the atmosphere was a little tense, it was fine, but he couldn't quarrel violently, otherwise it would not help stabilize Su Qingyuan's mood at all. Su Qingyuan said, I don't want to live in this hotel room. The sound insulation is not good at all. Last night, I heard the voice of a woman shouting, and I also heard the sound of body hitting. At that time, I thought of a very distressing question. Tao made Meng Swilly's belly bigger through this kind of exercise. Meng Swilly's stinky woman's belly was too good to be true, and it swelled up when she said it. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 131. Very wild and wet. Lin Feng didn't expect Su Qingyuan to communicate with him in this way. It was a bit of a sexist. Lin Feng said with a chuckle, since he doesn't want to live in the hotel, then he can stay at my house. I think you mean the same. Su Qingyuan said, I have heard Heidao mention you many times before. Sometimes when I was lying in bed with me, he would always mention you. He always said that you are a very talented and loyal person. Your kung fu is very high. I always heard him mention you at that time, and I began to despise you in my heart, and even attacked you, saying that you might be an incompetent trigger. Now that I met you, I found that maybe you're an incompetent trigger, but at least you'll be able to. While affirming him and scolding him, Su Qingyuan finally began to use the trigger to describe him, and Lin Feng could hear the resentment in it. Lin Feng won't fight back, even if Su Qingyuan raised her slender legs and kicked him, he would have to endure it. He smiled and said, it's almost time for lunch, why don't I invite you two to dinner, and then go to my house together? Bar. Neither Su Qingyuan nor Cao Lin had any objections. They went to the dining hall of the hotel together. Lin Feng asked Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin to order whatever they wanted. Neither of them saved Lin Feng, and they ordered expensive dishes. Su Qingyuan ordered 3 dishes, Cao Lin ordered 3 dishes, and Lin Feng added 2 more dishes, making a total of 8 dishes. Su Qingyuan said, this is the first time we have dinner together, should we drink? Lin Feng said, it's time to drink, just order whatever you want. Lin Feng had already seen that, both Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin wanted to cause him to bleed heavily. He didn't propose to buy alcohol from the tobacco and alcohol store outside, and just let them order alcohol from the hotel. Su Qingyuan said, I am a native of Jin province, and I have a special affection for Fenjiu. My father has a friend who is the leader of Xingguacan Winery. He took me there before to play. At that time, he drank the bamboo leaves in the big wine vat. A beauty, forget it, just need a bottle of Old Bayfen. The Old Bayfen at the Peach Blossom Hotel is a lot more expensive than the outside world. The price is more than 1,300. Lin Feng can only bear it. The food and wine are all served, and the tea is also charged extra, 80 yuan per pot, so expensive wine is accepted, not to mention the tea. Lin Feng has always been kind and pleasant, without any nervousness at all. Su Qingyuan heard about Lin Feng's family from Zhao Heidao. Her parents opened a small vegetable shop, and their annual income will never exceed 50,000 yuan. Lin Feng can write online novels a month. It is a few $1,000s, but the consumption in Beijing is high, and it is estimated that the money you can save is also very limited. Su Qingyuan said in her heart, Lin Feng, don't pretend to be calm, I know your flesh is already hurting, but since I am here, I just want to make your flesh hurt. Who made you a friend of that Zhao Heidao? Lin Feng raised his glass and said with a smile, Su Qingyuan, Cao Lin, let's meet each other and have dinner together for the first time. This is fate. After clinking glasses, the 3 of them all drank, and Lin Feng didn't dare to talk easily, for fear that if he said something wrong, the atmosphere would be filled with gunpowder instantly. If Su Qingyuan flipped the table, he would not only pay for the food and drinks, but also pay for the hotel's loss. Lin Feng ate slowly, his face was not as relaxed as before, and he was ready to take the call at any time. Su Qingyuan quickly made her move. She said, you should have seen Meng Swilly slut. From the bottom of her heart, do you think she can compare to me? Lin Feng said, it is up to Haidao to decide whether or not she can compare with you. After all, he married his wife, not me, so I said it doesn't count. Su Qingyuan's head came over, her beautiful face was almost touching Lin Feng's. She said into Lin Feng's ear, "What do you think? I am by your side, and you know my family very well. How do you think I am better than Meng Suili?" Lin Feng even had the heart to cry. Su Qingyuan was so aggressive, how should he answer? Lin Feng's expression was embarrassed, and even a little panicked, but he quickly laughed relieved. "I already have the answer to your question just now, but I can't say it here, I can tell you only after I come to my house." Su Qingyuan shouted, "I'll let you say it here." Lin Feng could only cast his eyes on Cao Lin for help. Cao Lin must be on Su Qingyuan's side, but Lin Feng still hoped that a miracle would happen. At the critical moment, Cao Lin really helped Lin Feng. She smiled and said, "Qingyuan, don't get excited, only if you are calm enough, the turning point you hoped for may happen, since Lin Feng said to tell you after returning home, then just wait." What Cao Lin said just now spoke to Su Qingyuan's heart. What Su Qingyuan hoped most was a turnaround. She nominally wanted to be a bridesmaid for Meng Suili, but she was too lazy to replace her with the bride at the critical moment. Su Qingyuan became arrogant again, her red lips moved and said, "Okay, let's eat first." Cao Lin filled 3 wine glasses with wine. After clinking the glasses this time, no one did, but took a sip. Lin Feng was thoughtful, Su Qingyuan was very lonely, Cao Lin's expression was relatively calm, and Lin Feng didn't know what Cao Lin was thinking about. After drinking a bottle of Old Bai Fen, Lin Feng said with a smile, "If you feel unsatisfied, you can have another bottle." Su Qingyuan said, "No, I want to eat some staple food." After she asked the waiter by her side, she asked for a bowl of noodles, and she didn't ask if Lin Feng and Cao Lin also had some staple food. Lin Feng asked for rice, and Cao Lin also asked for noodles. After eating together, they went to the hotel room. Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin packed up and went to Lin Feng's house together. Lin Feng's parents are in the restaurant, and he didn't call them in advance to inform them. It is estimated that when they come back and see this kind of battle, they will have a headache. Lin Feng said, "My house is very simple, and it is estimated that it will not be in the eyes of the two of you." Su Qingyuan sat on the sofa, her slender legs leaning to one side. "Should you tell me your answer, Meng Suili and I, who is better?" Lin Feng said, "You are better." Su Qingyuan said, "Do you think that I am much stronger than Meng Suili?" Lin Feng said that even if more than 10 Meng Suili were bundled together, they couldn't compare with you. You have looks, figure, education, and wealth, but Meng Suili only has looks and figure. After the moment of comfort, intense pain poured in. Su Qingyuan burst into tears, looked into Lin Feng's eyes, and said heart-piercingly, "But why is the brain of Ao Heidao's smelly trigger flooded? Is Meng Suili's belly bigger? It's easy to deal with. But why does he spend his whole life to make up for it?" Lin Feng said, "Don't cry, when you calm down a little, I will tell you the answer." Lin Feng went to the bathroom, not to pee, but to give Cao Lin a chance to comfort Su Qingyuan, and to give the two of them a chance to whisper. Cao Lin really began to comfort Su Qingyuan. She took Su Qingyuan into her arms and whispered, "Qingyuan, you can't be so excited. The purpose of AI's finding Lin Feng is to let him cooperate with you to complete the plan. If you are too excited, the plan will fail." Su Qingyuan choked and said, "But I can't control my emotions, I will try to calm down." When Lin Feng came out of the bathroom, Su Qingyuan stopped crying and wiped away her tears with a shampoo, but her eyes were still a little red. It is estimated that Cao Lin has already whispered to Su Qingyuan. Lin Feng took out a cigarette and put it in his mouth the moment he sat down, smiled, "Everything has a solution, Su Qingyuan, you and Haidao have been in love for a long time, I should be very clear about his way of life, but I should know him better than you. Su Qingyuan said, I have slept with him, have you slept with him? Lin Feng didn't know what style Su Qingyuan spoke in the past, but Su Qingyuan was a little too sharp when she talked to him. I don't know if it was intentional or for other purposes. Lin Feng said, you have slept with him, and I have slept with him, but you do different things when you slept together. I don't need to say what you do when you slept with him. When I slept with him, I just chatted. Sometimes I talk about the people around me who are the most idiots, who is the most demanding, sometimes about which girl or which female teacher is the hottest, and sometimes about the uncertain future. Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin both laughed, and Lin Feng also took the opportunity to stop and let them both have a good laugh. Maybe a short laugh can open up Su Qingyuan's heart a little bit. Seeing the two of them stopped laughing, Lin Feng said, Heidao's biggest advantage is not his handsome face that can rival first-tier male stars, but his conscience. He is a very conscientious person. When Meng Suili was young, it was really hard for him to make a choice. He could only do things with his conscience. Su Qingyuan, you are the daughter of a coal boss. Who is your future husband? You will be rich and handsome all your life, but Meng Suili is different. If Heidao doesn't marry her, she will be a single mother for many years, with no savings and no education. How can a woman live with a child? So Heidao's conscience told him that he must marry Meng Suili, not you. Atmosphere solidifies. It could explode at any time, it could go out at any time. Lin Feng also doesn't know what Su Qingyuan's reaction will be in the next second. It may be intense or it may be soothing. It's like a sapper cut a line of a mine. I don't know if it will explode or it will transition smoothly. A few minutes later, Su Qingyuan didn't blow up, but said in a soothing tone, what you just said was very reasonable, but you also ignored a very serious problem. Your trigger ignored my love for Heidao. How many men have chased me? Some are from Jin province, some are from Guangzhou, some are from Shanghai, some are from Canada, and some are from the United States. Some of them are business elites, some are children of the rich, and some are high-ranking officials, but I rejected them all. For who? For Zhao Heidao. Su Qingyuan choked up for a moment and then said that some of the people who chased me in the past were more handsome than Zhao Heidao, but I also rejected him, so what I valued in him was not his face, but an emotion. Lin Feng combined a lot of languages before taking Su Qingyuan and Cao Lin home. At that time, he thought of many possible scenarios, and then organized the corresponding languages. Now it seems that the languages he combined in advance are not enough. Lin Feng said, wait a minute, I'll go to the bathroom. Invincible Dragon welcomes you again, remember us.